North American house hippo is found throughout Canada and the eastern United States.
Did we just become best friends? Yup!
Morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. How are you all doing this morning? Good morning, Jabbers. Lurker, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that a lot. Tyrion reached a 5-stream streak. Thank you, friend. Morning, Lucky Owl and Neuropunk, Nick, and Ninja Cupcake, and Gavin, Lucky Owl, and Nick, I think I said already. And Miller, morning, friend. Oh, those elder bugs, they're driving me crazy. We have an older house, and they're just like, they're everywhere. Every time I look up, there's like 3 more on the walls, I swear. Oh, we got a wobbly stream. They're awful. So this morning, they are really bad this year. This morning, the plan was for our wonderful friend Gavin to stream. He's not feeling super great. And I am very low energy this morning, so we're just gonna we're gonna chill, watch the last QP / debate for the week, and yeah, see how that goes. Starting this morning with a door stream. When I went onto the CPAC website, they were like, "Ooh, there's questions from MPs before." Oh, there we go. Or QP. So let's do that. Elizabeth May should be coming back into the screen any moment now. Where's them that I had? There it is. Sound here. Because today is the first or the second vote, I guess. They did vote last night. And it did pass the first vote, and I believe there's another one this morning.
Climatique actuellement à Belém, Brazil. I'm speaking to a topic that is not top of mind for every Canadian right now because we're looking at the budget, we're looking at affordability. The 10-year anniversary, this is the first country speaking to it. But I have to say that as a Canadian and a climate activist, I'm heartbroken. That Canada is basically missing in action at a critical global meeting right now. Today, November 7th, is the second day of what was set aside by Brazilian President Lula as the heads of government meeting, the leaders' summit in advance of the official opening of the 30th Conference of the Parties of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. So today was the day that the Prime Minister's office had previously said Mark Carney would be in Brazil to meet with other world leaders. As we've heard in the news, of course, from President Lula as host of COP30 in Brazil, this is the Truth Summit. As we've heard from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, this is where we...
There we go. Neuropunk, you are correct. The vote last night was for the CPC amendment, which means that I believe the vote today would be for the Bloc Québécois.
Actually have to take accountability for the fact that the world is badly off target to meet the goals we agreed to in Paris. Those goals are not political goals. They're driven by the science. Canada played a lead role at COP21 in Paris. We were the first country to say we will commit to holding to 1.5 degrees Celsius, and that should be in the treaty. Il y a maintenant 10 ans que la conférence de parties sur le changement climatique dont l'accord cadre dans les Nations Unies pour réduire les gaz à effet de serre, pour protéger notre climat. L'accord de Paris qui a été fait à Paris en 2015 est tellement important. À cette conférence de presse, et c'est notre premier, l'ancien ministre de l'Environnement, Catherine McKenna, à la menace de... And this is the 10-year anniversary. This is the truth-telling moment. And our Prime Minister, who was going to be there today, has cancelled going. And he's also, of course, because of the timing of the budget vote, both key ministers in his cabinet, who will be there briefly, Minister of Environment, the Honourable Julie de Bruzen, and Minister for Canadian Identity, Stephen Guilbeault, will go briefly at the beginning of next week, but they'll have to come back almost right away because of the budget vote. I was going to be going in early next week and staying for the rest of the conference, but I might be the deciding vote on the budget vote, and even if I'm not the deciding vote, I can't miss it. And you can't use your famous voting app, which allows us to vote remotely when you're out of Canada. So, je suis tellement déçue avec les attentes. Edison, pardon me, Antonio Guterres, in Glasgow as special envoy, attended COP26 in Glasgow and delivered to the world this great achievement, the Financial Alliance for Net Zero, the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero, a commitment of $150 trillion from the masters of the universe, the big money, the people Mark Carney can talk to. They all signed up, and it's all washed away now. None of those trillions of dollars from the big banks and big investors that was pledged at COP26 exists anymore. I stand here.
Good morning,
I'm not
Good
going
morning,
anywhere.
Alex.
Climate activists have a voice in Parliament, and it's more than just me, and we're not giving up, and we're not going away, and no, climate action can't be dead. We have an obligation to a living biosphere, to our own children and grandchildren, to our society. Canada can have a strong economy, but not on a dead planet.
Ooh.
This planet is on fire, and we are walking away from the danger. Maintenant, c'est le moment d'agir.
Wow, she is, that's a hardcore amount
Le
of
temps
disappointment.
vite. Prime Minister and me and his Minister of Finance and other ministers to agree on some modifications to the budget that would allow me to vote for it. Because if it's the final nail in the coffin of Canada's climate action, I will never vote for that.
Ooh.
Merci.
Oof. Oof. Can you guys feel the, like, Grandma Liz May disappointment? Like, I feel like she's, like, I feel bad, and I'm not the Prime Minister she just, quietly yelled at. Oh, that was powerful. And she walks away. No questions. That's it. I'm done. I love her. She scolded the heck out of him. Did they get anybody else this morning? Was it? So people are asking about Doorstream. This is what Doorstream is. Good morning, Potato Mage. The whole bunch of the door while they waited for MPs to come out and talk. Yeah, no. Just May this morning. I bet she gives the best grandma hugs. I think you're absolutely correct. That's done. And the nice thing about me being a little bit behind this morning is we can skip through all of the repetitive questions this morning. For those of you who are just coming in, the plan this morning was to have our wonderful Sniper Panda. Are you Sniper Panda on here? Yes, you are. Do a stream this morning. He is not feeling well, so we are doing a low energy stream today because I am low energy. Okay. Oh, I know, Gavin. Like, that's what I mean. Like, listening to her talk just then, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm in trouble. I'm sorry for whatever I said. Uh-oh.
It was truly touching. As Remembrance Day draw near, we pause to honor the brave Canadians who answered the call of service.
It is a mental drain.
Those who defended our freedom.
That we, Mr. Speaker, can live.
Printed budget MPs were actually given.
Pause to honor
Okay.
our
Gate.
Mr. West. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the member opposite for his speech. Mr. Speaker, according to the Globe and Mail's Bill Curry, the government tucked 75 legislative changes into an annex that mysteriously vanished from the printed budget MPs were actually given. Is this what digital transformation means now? That the Liberals transform transparency into an upload?
Oh my word.
Can the member opposite ask their finance minister to table the full online annex today, or are MPs supposed to legislate by hyperlink? And can she explain why they decided to undertake such deception against fellow parliamentarians?
Honourable member for Orleans.
Monsieur le Président,
Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud that my colleague is asking this question.
All right, so the plan for today is this is the debate, and then we get question period right after, and I believe that's it for today.
Because of all the questions he could have asked, I'm happy to get that one. With all due respect, I would say to Canadians in Orleans, the region that I represent, the government is there for you. The government will protect investments that are important for you.
This sounds like
Necessary
propaganda.
investments, but at the
It's the
same
way that
time,
the
we will be
translator is
responsible when
We are there
carrying
for
out
you. The
spending
government
under the
likes
budget.
you.
We are in an era of modernization, artificial intelligence, other technologies. And again, to our young people, I will say we are there for you. Questions and comments?
Yeah,
The honourable
It's
member
weird.
for Quebec Centre.
yeah, that's a good question.
Inaudible for the interpreter. I'm proud of my colleague's speech. I heard her talk about the Canada Summer Jobs Program. I think there are a few members in this House that realize that in the budget,
Yeah, Potato Mage. I don't know if
we
you were here
increased
the
the
other
number
day. We
of
looked through
summer
a
jobs
lot of
positions
the
to
budget,
100,000.
and there's so many things
will
in there
be
about AI. It's actually
The
a little
impact
scary.
of this change in the member's riding. The honourable member for Orleans.
Oh, we all do.
I would
You're
like to
in
thank my
good
honourable
company,
colleague
Potato
for
Mage.
his question. I think that all 343 MPs could benefit from this program, including me.
In fact, we have an emote.
Orleans has already been particularly impacted by the Canada Summer Jobs Program. In recent years, we in Orleans have actually been asking for enhancements to the program, and that is exactly what the government is doing. What will be the impact? There will be more young people, but also more non-profits and small businesses in my riding able to benefit from young people who could help them in their duties next summer.
Commentaire, the honourable member for Caribou, Prince George.
Speaker, to my honourable colleague across the way, 500 pages that was tabled just the other day.
Yeah.
Over 50
I'll turn the video down a little bit because I am sleepy. My voice is not going to get a whole lot louder this morning.
50,000 Canadians have died
Is
from
that better?
overdose since 2016. More Canadians have died from overdose than died in World War II. Yet no new money for addictions in this budget. Mental health was only mentioned 5 times. We are now spending more money servicing our debt than we do in
It's irresponsible for the
healthcare
feds to be
transfers
backing
to
AI. Oh, I
provinces.
know.
How
It's
does this member rationalize this
that AI
generational
bubble's gonna
crisis
pop.
with absolutely
And
no new money?
That
The honourable
whole
member for Orleans.
thing is going to fall apart.
I have to say thank you very much for the question, Mr. Speaker, because I know how of an advocate this member has been on the subject of mental health, and certainly I want to commend him for his advocacy. As a former social worker who has
Good morning, Sean.
first-hand experience
How are you?
of the impact on mental health, I have to say it is most important that we continue. I was quite pleased actually in the past few years to see our federal government, while doing our accord on our healthcare accord, increasing the capacity of transfer specifically on mental health services to local communities. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Questions and comments? Questions et
So
commentaires,
much
honorable
more
député.
pleasant.
The honourable member for Beauharnois, Salaberry, Soulange, Huntingdon.
Oh, it's a long name.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I listened to my colleague's speech closely. Yes, the Canada Summer Jobs Program did need to be indexed. For years now, there has been great demand so that students could get some work experience. It's good news, but sincerely, if I had had a choice, I would have preferred to increase the Canada Health transfer because that is what provinces are calling for.
Oh, Vince.
The honourable member for Orleans, briefly. I'll go quickly. I'm proud to answer that question, Mr. Speaker. We did increase the health transfer in recent years. I was a former provincial member of Parliament. Over $200 billion were added to health transfers.
Yeah, Ninja Cupcake, you're
to the
absolutely
provinces,
right.
And we will continue to be there for the health of Canadians.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Government Transformation and Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, friends, Budget 2025 is about meeting the moment and building Canada strong. It's a plan rooted in confidence in our people, in our innovators, and in Canada's ability to lead through change. At a time when the world is shifting,
word, Gavin, that's horrifying. Someone's son was chatting with Grok, and they asked them to send inappropriate photos. Ugh, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's learning from being on the internet. Well, it's not just learning the good stuff, and there's no way to control or filter what it's learning, right?
new trade barriers, global uncertainty,
Terrifying.
and the race to harness technologies like artificial intelligence. Canada is acting with purpose. This budget invests to protect our sovereignty, supercharges our productivity, and empowers Canadians to get ahead. It's about spending less to invest more. In housing Canadians can afford, in building the infrastructure of the next generation, in clean energy, and in creating high-value jobs of tomorrow. And for the communities that I represent in Kanata, Carp, Bells Corners, and Stittsville, this means accelerating innovation in semiconductors, photonics, AI, and supporting our skilled trades and small businesses, and ensuring that
Crap thing is saying supporting AI and supporting the trades in the same sentence. Don't love that.
The opportunities of this economy are built right here at home. At the heart of the budget are families and youth of my community. With Budget 2025, we're cutting taxes for the middle class, saving the average family, two-income family, about $840 a year. We've canceled the consumer carbon price, lowering gas prices by about 18 cents a litre. We're making the National School Food Program permanent, helping 400,000 kids get a healthy meal at school and saving families up to $800 a year. And we're continuing to invest in childcare, saving families in my community over $10,000 a year per child. We're also launching automatic federal benefits so that up to 5.5 million low-income Canadians will get the supports that they deserve without extra paperwork.
Yeah, she was a little bit. This is what we were talking about yesterday, the federal benefits thing.
For young people, this budget is a game changer. We're creating 175,000 job placements to help young Canadians gain the skills and experience that they need to succeed in high-growth industries of tomorrow, like technology,
minus
clean
the 40,000
energy, and
jobs
digital
you're
innovation.
getting rid of.
These opportunities will ensure that the next generation of Canadians have the tools that they need to help shape the future. For the communities that I represent in Kanata, Carp, Bells Corners, and Stittsville, that means more opportunities for young people and more money staying in families' pockets, whether it's fueling the car for hockey practice, paying the mortgage, or putting healthy meals on the table. This budget makes life more affordable, more predictable, and more fair for Canadian families. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2025 is about building Canada's future economy. One powered
I know
by
the CRA website, any government website, is almost impossible to navigate. Even figuring out what the schedule is almost impossible. Never mind signing up for tax benefits.
Talent that we have in Kanata, Carp, Bells Corners, and Stittsville. This budget invests to supercharge productivity and innovation introducing the new productivity super deduction to help companies invest in new technologies and strengthen the SR&ED tax incentive that fuels R&D. It also makes major commitments in artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and photonics, including supporting the Canadian Photonics Fabrication Centre right here in Ottawa, ensuring that we have sovereign semiconductor fabrication capability, world-class research and manufacturing that stays in Canada. These investments mean more high-paying jobs, stronger small businesses, and new opportunities for our talented engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs. In
Right,
Canada
Gavin?
North, Canada's largest technology park, this budget builds on our strengths, helping local innovators compete globally while creating the careers of tomorrow right here at home.
Oy.
Mr. Speaker, strong communities are Canadians rely
Ooh, she
on,
talks for a while.
and
Okay, we're
wherever
gonna
investment
skip ahead.
programs. In Canada meets NATO's 2% target this year. Investment in our people's new approach, investments that build
Oh gosh.
in affordable.
Liberal ministers. I guess my question is, how much of this, how much are we going to find out from the size of the
Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The questions are the things. The questions and the answers are the things that I'm the most interested in. It's one thing to listen to their speech about how great they are. It's another thing to have to answer to your fellow MPs.
Honourable member for Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Speaker.
there's
And
the speaker.
Gonna have to excuse me when I'm really the red lights go off when I hear about all these investments the Liberals are going to make into tech companies, into all these other businesses. Especially
could,
when we
yeah.
see such so many conflicts of interest. Companies like the Green Slush Fund, all these tech companies, where we see Liberals, insiders, and friends getting their money into it, whether it be COVID
Oh, I know.
contracts being given to former Liberal ministers. I guess my question is, how much of this, how much are we going to find out these contracts are really getting friends and family of Liberals rich?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the question from my colleague across the way. You know, I consider myself quite lucky in the role that I am in and being able to represent over 700 companies in Canada's largest
Oh, they
technology
absolutely
park.
do.
This budget 2025, puts forward
Also, just
major
listen to the difference in how they ask
opportunities for
questions. Like the
businesses
way
across
that
this country, whether that's the
oh, I forgot his name already.
productivity
The way that he
super
asked the question
deduction,
was
enabling companies
so
to write off
condescending.
their investments and increase their productivity in the short term, whether that's investments in AI and the AI Compute Fund, creating sovereign digital cloud across this
Don't like it.
across this country, or whether that's
A
enhancements to the SR&ED
sovereign
credit. These are
digital cloud? What in the absolute heck does that mean? Don't love that. What?
tangible ways that our government is moving forward to make this country more competitive and to increase productivity within our companies.
I still don't know what it is.
The Honourable Member for Gaspésie, Les Îles de la Madeleine, Listagouge. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to thank my learned colleague for her speech.
Okay,
There's one thing
gotcha.
in this budget
Gotcha.
that we did not see. A renewal for the Fisheries Fund. I come from Gaspésie, and in Gaspésie
Okay.
and Magdalen Island, the
All right,
Fisheries
never
Fund
mind.
allowed for the investment of $40 billion to promote innovation, drive scientific research, and ensure that our fisheries sector
Yeah.
would be
Then yes, that is a good thing.
at the forefront of technological
I just,
change.
yeah.
Yet,
When
the
she's saying
Fisheries Fund
AI,
is not
AI,
included
and then
in the
throwing
budget.
that in
Could
there,
my learned
it's,
colleague explain why?
like I said, we're low energy this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the question. And it's
I
wonderful to hear
missed
that
it.
connection made between fisheries and technology. As we
Oh,
know
probably,
that
Morgan.
by enabling and leveraging technologies, we are able to increase productivity. And that extends across so many sectors across our country. Case in point, when we look at the productivity super
Thanks to Jabbers.
deduction, an opportunity for companies, for fishers to be able to invest in their businesses, to get the equipment that they need to be able to be more productive. This is a tangible way that our government is demonstrating our commitment to them and their future.
There will be a minute and 50 seconds left in the questions and comments segment related to this speech. Statements by members. Déclaration de député. The Honourable Member for South Surrey, White Rock.
Mr. Speaker, our new budget is about empowering Canadians.
All right, we will skip the statements by members
in our resilience, our competitiveness, and our
as we
billion
can.
in provincial transfers.
Talk about and support about community well.
The Honourable Member for Surrey Newton.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to celebrate the new project.
Still statements, still statements, statements.
Canadian Food Inspection Agents in Edgewood, BC.
Oh my goodness, so many statements. Nobody cares. Who claps like that? Hi, PCH, I appreciate you.
The Honourable Member for Beauharnois, Salaberry, Soulanges, Huntington. Mr. Speaker, this November, I felt it was particularly important to highlight this edition of Social Economy Month as it builds and all sectors in response.
The Honourable Member for Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam.
Wow.
Second place in the mixed style with strong showings from Burnaby's Daggerat.
Craft beer.
That punishes work, drives up prices, and
Okay, is this the actual?
South Six Nations.
After 10 years of Liberal waste, Canadian huckers workers.
Maillardville.
New Westminster. Oh,
You're Westminster? Oh no! Oh no! Poor guy. He's new. Aww.
I'll restart. Sorry. Mr. Speaker,
Oh, and he went right into it.
November is Movember, a month for men's health awareness.
There you go.
We lose far too many men to suicide every year. So to the boys and men hearing this today, I urge you to take care
Okay, I'm for this.
of your health. It's easy to feel alone, but there may be people that care about you very much that you can talk to, and your existence as a person is valuable. So please, if you're ever considering self-harm, fight back against that voice in your head. It's okay to reach out for help.
I thought
and
it was
that's
two.
a brave thing to do. You just need to talk about it. It's brave to be open about these things. I encourage everyone to take part in Movember, whether that's growing a mustache, fundraising, exercising, or organizing men's health events. This is a very important cause. Thank you.
Good for him. Oh, that poor guy. You can just see the second he went Mr. Westminster, his whole innards just crumble. Yeah, that was a good one.
The Honourable Member for Chatham-Kent, Leamington.
The long-awaited federal budget was tabled, and while a new Liberal leader was supposed to mean a new direction, this yesterday 16%. Beef.
Mr. Speaker, this week is Veterans Week. To Indigenous veteran courage.
And double what the Prime Minister's predecessor left behind.
Oh my word, they can't get past Justin Trudeau.
Our local Moncton chapter was founded just this past June.
Thank you.
Beds
Oh,
with a
there we
group of
go.
local volunteers. Thank you to Jim
Hey,
and
you
Mary Claire for their
235. How are you, friend?
invitation and for their tireless devotion to this cause. I encourage all Canadians
Yeah,
to
it
look
has,
for their nearest
Ninja. You're
chapter
correct.
of Sleep in Heavenly Peace, or even to start a chapter in their area to support this wonderful charity.
Good?
Thank
I'm
you very
glad.
much, Mr. Speaker.
Oral questions, questions orales, the Honourable Member for Oxford.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, this Liberal government is the most expensive in Canadian history. The more they spend, the more
Oh,
things
no.
cost. Their so-called generational budget is nothing more than generational debt, mortgaging away our children's
Thanks,
future.
Lucky
With
Owl.
massive Liberal deficits feed inflation.
Oh, seriously
Inflation
though, Gavin.
fuels unaffordability.
Like-
Our seniors can barely buy groceries. Our family...
We should do a search of the Hansards to see how many times they asked for Justin Trudeau before he left in the year. Sorry, let me start that whole thing over again. We should search the Hansard for a year that Justin Trudeau was in Parliament, and then search for the last year and see if it compares the amount of times they say his name.
Are stretched thin and our workers are falling behind. Yet this Prime Minister, he still wants them to make more sacrifices. Can the Prime Minister tell us what more is left for Canadians to sacrifice?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this morning brings outstanding news of the tens of thousands, in fact 69,000 new jobs in Canada. The second straight month of employment growth in this country. What's happening, as the Minister of Natural Resources informed us yesterday, is investors are piling into Canada. They're expressing confidence in our country. The entrepreneurs, the tech sector, young people are getting energized about this positive economic momentum. We're going to keep it going with this budget. I hope the Conservatives support us in it.
The Honourable Member for Oxford.
Maybe you two.
Budget has the largest deficit in history outside of COVID. The interest payments are topping $55 billion, more than what we spent on healthcare.
I have no idea, Potato Mage. A Trudeau swear jar would be a great emote. There you go. If you have ideas for emotes, send them to our wonderful Morgan Lefebvre. Imagine Justin Trudeau watching this and saying, "Say my name."
Less for doctors, less for nurses, less for our hospitals, but more for bondholders and liberal insiders. The only thing that's getting healthy under this government are the bankers' profits. They keep getting rich while Canadians foot the price. So can the Prime Minister tell us?
Yeah, you did. Good morning, Guernsey.
Sure his banker buddies get rich while Canadians suffer.
Honourable Minister of Finance.
I think it's
It'd be very hazardous.
Repeating. The economy has added 67,000 new jobs, Mr. Speaker. 67!
Even the Conservatives are happy on a Friday.
And they have good news, not only in the budget, Mr. Speaker. There's hundreds of pages of good news, but this morning they can say that the plan of the government will build Canada strong because what, Mr. Speaker? We believe in Canada.
Honourable Member for Dufferin-Caledon.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and like earlier she was talking about all these new jobs they're creating, and I'm like, yeah, minus the 40,000 you're cutting. Good morning, Siege. Actual morning. Hey, just another bibliophile. How are you? Conservatives, Trudeau, never going to give you up. I know.
Only a bunch of liberals would stand up and applaud an unemployment rate of 7%. When the United States unemployment rate is 4.2%. This is the most
I feel like that's not true.
expensive government in Canadian history. In 10 years, they doubled the debt, and now they're going to pile on another $78 billion. Meanwhile, 2.2 million Canadians are going to the food bank. The softwood lumber
Yeah,
industry
exactly,
is
Guernsey.
being
Like, that's
devastated.
an
The
odd
auto
comparison
industry
to make.
is being devastated. Is there a liberal over there that can stand up and explain how they've spent so much money to accomplish so little?
The Honourable Minister of International Trade.
67,000. That's how many new jobs were created last month. 20,000 of these jobs were for young Canadians.
This is their sticking point this morning.
In Canada, 1 in 5 jobs are related to trade. From small
Yes,
businesses to
U235,
major
we got
exports,
it.
Canadians are driving growth and creating opportunities.
I'm so old.
In Budget 2025, we have a plan to
I'm so behind on the whole trends and the 6-7 and there you go, Siege. Thank you.
Member for Dufferin-Caledon.
Once again, how do they stand up and applaud an unemployment rate of 7% when the United States unemployment rate is 4.2%? It's
not.
actually like we're living in some kind of dystopia.
It's part of a song. I heard an explanation for this somewhere. I can't remember. Oh, he will. He absolutely will. I dropped kiddo off this morning at school, and the kids are all doing it.
utopian universe where they do this.
Oh, we absolutely all did. I'm just saying I'm so old that I don't understand what that one is.
2.2 million Canadians are using the food bank.
Are the new jobs ever in the country with us? That is a great question.
A 7.1% unemployment rate. They have spent more money than all governments combined in the history of Canada.
That's
How
not
can
true.
they applaud when they've spent so much to actually accomplish so little?
Let me repeat the same thing. It'd be great if the CPC could stop comparing us to the states. We aren't the same. Yeah.
Speaker, here is something to applaud about. We created 67
Oh.
jobs last month. That's right. Mr. Speaker, this is about building an affordable nation for a nation of builders. This budget does just that. We are building affordable housing for young people. We are creating 100,000 new summer jobs. And Mr. Speaker, we are investing in the tech sector. 800,000 workers, fastest growing job sector in the economy, many for young people. I hope the Conservatives, and many of them do, support this budget.
The Honourable Member for Louis Saint-Laurent Aquion-Rac. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals have presented the most expensive and deficit-ridden budget in Canada's history outside of the pandemic. Nearly $8 billion in deficit. 80 billion. Mr. Speaker, a deficit means spending money we don't have. A deficit is a bill that we send our children and our grandchildren. A deficit is adding fuel to the inflation fire. Why is this Prime Minister spending more and uncontrolledly without focus?
All right, meme break. Just a list of every MP saying 67, yeah. So it is from a song by Skrilla. And may refer to basketball players who were 6'7". And then there was a kid on TikTok. YouTube. Oh my goodness, this is how far behind I am. Oh my goodness, this is all over the place. SPC 607 kid is not to be confused with the Canon SPC 607, which is a fountain pen. The tyrant is expanding her brain. I don't know if expanding is the right word. Good morning, Irascible Atlantic. 41 is from the same song. Oh, the song 41 song. Yeah, I don't know. That didn't help me at all.
On inflation, the Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud to inform my colleague that over the past month, the Canadian economy added 67,000 new jobs.
Oh my word. We are deep frying,
with
yeah.
their help, if we support the 2025
Same,
budget,
Tyrion.
we will unleash the power of the Canadian economy by building big projects like the containers for the Port of
An
Quebec.
alpha thing. I know there's a whole new generation.
The economy so we can build the strongest in the G7. The Honourable Member for Louis Saint-Laurent Aquion-Rac. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately,
Ooh, very fast.
I'm not proud at all of the figure I'm going to cite.
Same one?
2.2 million Canadians have to use a food bank. That's
Same
the track
point
record.
as everyone else.
Of these 2 million, 1 out of 3 are children. We're talking about 700,000 children in
Still
Canada
a good
that have to use
mustache.
food banks to eat. Mr. Speaker, but I love Canada too much to see this. Why is the government continuing to rack up deficits? We're talking about $80 billion. We know deficits are just debts we're sending to our children, our grandchildren. Canadians deserve better than this. The Honourable Secretary of State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Great jacket.
This budget invests in our children.
Yeah, we're deep frying our
It
brains
invests,
more watching our
it
parliamentary
requires
House of
funds
Commons
so we can create jobs.
than
so
we are looking
can
at memes from Gen Alpha.
renew purchasing power for all Canadians. That's what's important. That's what we're doing. Canadians are hoping for this, and I hope that my colleagues will support this budget, which will give power back to all Canadians. The Honourable Member for Côte-Nord, Kalkawichimach, Netassinan. Mr. Speaker, there would never have been a confidence vote on the budget today if the Liberals had worked in the interests of Quebecers. But here we are, unfortunately. We're here because they refused to negotiate in
They
good
sure
faith.
won't, Rossville
Despite
Atlantic.
their minority status, they rejected Quebec's request for health care and infrastructure, as well
One
as
of
the
them
needs
makes sense and
seniors
moves forward.
struggling
Yeah,
with the cost of
exactly.
living, or those of young people who would like to become homeowners. Why do they prefer to orchestrate this confidence vote instead of responding to the needs of Quebecers? The Honourable Government House Leader.
That was some
Mr.
shade.
Speaker, we have great trust that Quebecers have seen in this budget investments in culture. They trust this. They trust in our investments in housing. They trust in our investments in military to create jobs, in Davy, and in aerospace. They trust the Liberal Party to protect their language and culture, and Radio-Canada. Here in Canada,
Radio-Canada.
we're investing in our language and our culture. And in Quebec, and in the Quebec specificity, Quebecers have expressed their trust in this budget. The only question that remains, will the Bloc do the same? The Honourable Member for Côte-Nord. Mr. Speaker, Quebecers did not vote Conservative, and yet this is a Conservative
Yeah, it's fair,
budget
Ninja.
despite its Liberal deficits. Healthcare
Hopefully
cuts,
we,
mass layoffs, climate
provide at least a
capitulation.
little bit
These
of
are
a
Conservative ideas. The
sense of humor
government
to
leader
the-
even confirmed this in the House on Wednesday, indicating that this is a budget that Conservative voters can love.
On the
it's
plus
working
side, there is
because
no
there's
question
turmoil
period
in the
next week.
Conservative ranks. They identify
all.
with this budget. Why did the Liberals choose
So,
to court the
you got a week
Conservatives
off.
instead of listening to the demands of Quebecers? The Honourable Minister of Industry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Whoa,
On
that
this side
camera.
of the House, we are very proud to have 44 members from Quebec at the House of Commons, the largest amount. And we
Yeah.
are here to support Quebecers.
Probably has
Quebecers
to work
asked
Monday
us
and then he
for
gets
funding
Tuesday
for
off.
health. We
And then
did
Kiddo
this
gets Monday,
with
Tuesday off.
hospitals,
So it'll be
emergency
nice.
rooms, and doctors' clinics. We also had the support from Quebecers for support of French language and culture. We've invested in this, and Quebecers, what do they want? They want jobs. And this is a budget that will create jobs. The Honourable Member for Berthier-Masquinongé.
Ooh, that's a cool tie.
In the past, the Liberals made budgets to please the NDP, and now they're doing so to please the Conservatives. But they
Ooh.
never make budgets to meet the needs of Quebecers. What Quebecers want is a healthcare system that works. They want to be able to grow old without losing their
Jumping
purchasing
into the
power.
ocean. Yeah, it would
They
be very
want
chilly.
affordable housing. They want young people to be able to buy a home like previous generations did. And that's what we're
Ninja.
seeing in Quebec.
That's amazing.
Why are the Liberals threatening elections instead of meeting the needs of Quebecers? The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd ask my colleague, when he talks about housing, we're massively investing to build housing in Quebec. He talks about health. Quebecers want infrastructure that's of quality, and we have this in the budget. And they talked about jobs. We have a project across Quebec to develop our resources
I
and
know.
create opportunities for young people. He talks about purchasing power. There's a tax cut for millions of Canadians.
I was talking to my dad last night, and he has worked in and out of the Conservative Party for most of his life. He never ran as an MP or anything, but he's been in and around the Conservative Party as long as I've been alive. And he's like, I can't watch QP anymore. You can't do it. He hates it. And I'm like, yeah, well, welcome to the rest of the population. Like, this is how our government is acting.
$800 per family less. So what do Quebecers want? They want a responsible and ambitious budget, and that's exactly what we're delivering. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Sherwood Park.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's gotten worse.
This Prime Minister proposed the worst budget deficit in history outside of the COVID period. Every dollar he spends costs Canadians in their taxes and through...
Right, same question.
It helps people today. This is a budget that cuts taxes for 22 million Canadians, saving families up to $800 a year. It makes the National School Food Program...
It's the Liberal caucus to understand, but parents would actually prefer to be able to afford to buy food themselves for their kids. And they used to be able to before these Liberals took office. Latest numbers today
I know.
show that more than 1 in 4 people in Canada are living in a financially insecure household. More than 1 in 4. That is the legacy of this party. It wasn't this way before. It doesn't have to be that way again. When will they change course?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, these Conservatives think they know best,
Yeah,
but they are
exactly,
actually
Tatum.
ignoring the experts. They're ignoring the Coalition for Healthy School Food, who calls this budget a great step forward.
Because everything was better under Harper, of course.
They're ignoring the Heart and Stroke Foundation and the Breakfast Club of Canada that also applaud our commitment to making the National
Oh,
School Food
absolutely,
Program
Siege.
permanent. The Conservative Party needs to listen to the experts, listen to Children First Canada about why this program makes a difference and why 500,000 families across the country are going to benefit from it.
The Honourable Member for Leduc-Wetaskiwin.
Speaking of experts, according to Fitch Ratings just yesterday, quote, Canada's proposed budget announced in Parliament on November 4th underscores the erosion of the federal government's finances, persistent fiscal expansion, and a rising
Morning,
debt
Dr.
burden that
Badstrings.
weakened its credit profile and could increase rating pressure over the medium term. Mr. Speaker, this has happened before with crushing impact on Canadians. In the 90s, after similar rating pressure, the Liberal government of the day was forced to cut 32% from federal health and social transfers over just 2 years. Does anyone over there understand the gravity of this situation?
The Honourable Minister of Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, as somebody who spent much of his life in the banking community, let me tell him about the S&P and Moody's ratings, which are AAA, the best in the entire world. The best in the entire world. We have the second lowest debt in the GDP, Mr. Speaker. We're doing just fine.
The Honourable Member for Leduc-Wetaskiwin.
Mr. Speaker, ratings are always great
Yeah,
until
exactly.
the day they're not. Here's a quick review of the early 90s from Reuters. February 1994, quote, Liberal government brings down what it considers to be a tough budget. It nonetheless has spending rising slightly, an immediate public and market reaction as it did not go nearly far enough. January 1995, quote, a biting editorial in the Wall Street Journal headline, Bankrupt Canada,
Oh, I
calls
know.
Canada an honorary member of the Third World. The next month, the Liberal government was forced to make the most vicious...
But Ninja, no other kinds of people exist. Yeah, it's the parents and the workers, and then the single moms, and then everybody else, whatever. Oh, and absolutely, Dr. Badstrings. The 90s versus the 2020s, two very, very different eras.
cuts to healthcare and social programs in Canadian history. Who over there is willing to take a stand to avoid a repeat?
Nobody.
Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, Budget 2025 includes generational investments to rebuild, rearm, and reinvest in the Canadian Armed Forces, and it starts with our people. This budget includes a $2
Is anyone else seeing Jean Chrétien?
billion historic pay and benefits package, which will impact close to
David
100,000
McGuinty, that's
forces
why.
and their families. Untrained sailors, privates, and aviators are receiving a 20% pay raise. That's what's in our budget. That's what's at stake. All members of the House should come together to support our forces as they help build and keep Canada strong.
Honourable Member for Kitchener Centre.
Mr. Speaker, while Canadians are being forced to choose between heating and eating, this government has chosen to increase our national debt by $80 billion. Can this Prime Minister please explain how driving up
Don't
the
exist
debt
because I work
and
part-time. Can I stop paying taxes? Yeah, I mean, that would only be fair, right?
the senior afraid to open their hydro bill, or the young family priced out of their new home? Or is this just continued economic theater from a government that's completely lost touch with reality?
Yeah.
Secretary of State for Seniors.
Also, I keep seeing her very sparkly jacket, and I freaking love it.
They are fighting for youth, but they plan to vote against a national school food program.
What?
They say they are fighting
What?
for families, but they plan to vote against a middle income tax cut.
Wow.
They say they are fighting for workers, but they plan to vote against a $75 million apprenticeship training fund. They say they are fighting for our borders, but they plan to vote against a much needed pay raise for
Oh,
our
I know,
service members
Dr.
in our armed
Badstrings.
forces, including in my riding at
It is a very
CFB of
pretty
Esquimalt.
jacket. The thing is one of the big conservative tactics right now is fear. If they can make things look way worse than they are, then they're winning, right? They run a lot of their campaigns on fear.
Canadians want to know who these conservatives are fighting for because it certainly is not
Yeah,
Canadians.
fear and anger through division. Yep.
Honourable member for Regina Capel. Speaker, after 10 years of liberal inflationary deficits, working
No, I don't feel like listening to Anders Shear.
Invest in their futures and
I just
invest
can't.
in their possibility, and that's exactly what we've been doing, Mr. Speaker. 67,000 new jobs added this month, Mr. Speaker.
Again, with the color, I love seeing color. You're welcome. I can't.
Mr. Speaker, is youth unemployment is going down, so the investments we're making are working. This is a budget for young people, for seniors, for families.
Yeah,
They're
Gavin,
gonna vote
exactly.
against things like dental care. They're going to vote against things like child care. That's what families
Shame.
need, and that's exactly what this budget delivers.
He's just thankful that no one's looking at him anymore for his mistake. Every time I see his face, I just remember watching that day in question period where everyone was targeting him. I just felt so bad. Oh, he just skipped every time. I can't. We watched Andrew Scheer for a little while the other day, and it was only because we watched a reporter tear him to shreds. Nope.
Right, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary for Housing and Infrastructure. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Canadians do not live in a pretend world. They know there is no tax on food. They know which party always vote against affordability, against dental care, pharmacare, childcare, basically anything with the word care in it.
Ooh.
Canadians know that our government is there for them with a budget that will protect jobs in critical sectors like auto, steel, aluminum, lumber, build affordable housing and the infrastructures our communities need all across Canada, empower, catalyze our economy. So if you're really there for Canadians, you'll vote for the budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly it, Dr. Badstrings.
Again, I will remind the member to go through the chair. I can't vote unless it's a tie.
I can't vote unless it was a tie.
For Gaspésie, Les Îles-de-la-Madeleine, Lestigouche. Mr. Speaker, yesterday a report on Radio Canada revealed lobster smuggling in New Brunswick. It's troubling for people in this region and for everyone in the Maritimes. But the problem is even all more serious because in recent weeks we have heard that at Fisheries Committee that
Everything started early, Anu. I got back from dropping kiddo off and I was like, oh, I wonder like what time they're starting this morning, and they had already started. They started at 11 Eastern time this morning. So technically question period is over. Lobster smuggling. Good morning, 128 Grazer. Good to see you, friend.
There's political interference in the works of fisheries officers to combat illegal fishing, and even experienced officers saying they're being hamstrung by the Department of Fisheries. How come senior officials in the department are intervening to prevent the law from being enforced? The Honourable Minister.
Unauthorized fishing is unacceptable, full stop. Fisheries officers have many tools that they use in the management of unauthorized fishing, from education to charges to fines. And
Yeah, seriously. Also, the visual of smuggling lobsters is just like, in my overtired brain is like people like putting lobsters under their jacket and trying to walk through an airport. I know that's not what it is, but like, just makes me giggle.
And peaceful. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Gaspésie, Les Îles-de-la-Madeleine, Lestigouche. Mr. Speaker, illegal lobster fishing is endangering the species, and that's what worries fishers most. They want to protect this resource so their children and grandchildren can also fish. But we can take action against illegal fishing. They just have to enforce the law. That's the only thing that the fishing industry is asking for. Committee.
Thanks, I'll hat. 5 lobsters fall off my head. It does sound like a plotline in a kid's show.
Reprisals. My question is
I don't
simple,
know.
so the answer must be as well. Will this government ensure that its fisheries officers
Not
enforce
yet,
the
Dr.
law?
Badstrings.
The Honourable Minister
Not
of
yet, but I'm
Fisheries.
sure it's coming.
my colleague that the work is happening, and he needs to just look at what's happened in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and other parts of the country. The fisheries officers are on the water. We support their work. They are making a difference, and we accept nothing but authorized fishing. Thank you.
The honourable member for Côte-du-Sud,
Tim Lobsters and a crab in a trench coat.
Tamisquata. Mr. Speaker,
Ooh, that's a
this
suit.
government is the most expensive in Canada's history. Every dollar spent by the PM comes directly out of Canadians' pockets. The more he spends, the more everything costs. To admit of Canadian culture. Mr. Speaker.
Great outfit.
Clearly, the carbon tax.
Picturing the lobster doing the smuggling. Yeah. The real problem is the lobsters themselves.
Nevertheless, the cost of living is our priority, and we are going
We're
to
just listening to her because I like her
This
outfit.
is a
Let's
responsible
be
budget to do
100%
so.
honest.
And when will the opposition understand that
The
we
lobster
have to
mobsters.
keep these factors for Canadians, and they should be supporting the budget? The honourable member for Côte-du-Sud, Rivière-du-Sud. Mr. Speaker, it's clear this minister does not understand the reality on the ground because, according to a NANOS
It is fire,
poll,
yeah.
1 in 5 Canadians have skipped paying a bill just to put food on the table. Frankly, this is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, can this Prime Minister explain
Criminally
to my
crafty
constituents
crustaceans.
and theirs why he's stubbornly sticking to this
Yeah,
industrial
always
carbon
break the dress
tax while
code.
families have to choose between heating their homes and filling their fridges? The Honourable Minister of Industry. Not only do we know that Quebecers support this budget, we know why. Because we're going to deliver for them. Good jobs in my
I also want to buy
this
a
riding
vest like this.
will ensure
It
that
looks so
people
cozy.
who work at Alstom will
Mr.
have
Krabs
good
is the
jobs,
ringleader.
will be able to buy groceries, and will be able to
Watch
meet
out for
the
Mr.
needs of their
Krabs.
families. Quebecers also want a good healthcare system. The federal government has continued to increase health. Well, in past budgets, they've increased health transfers, and we're keeping them the same in this one. And we're supporting the construction of hospitals.
That's your
the
MP?
Quebec government
Nice.
asked for this, and we've delivered for them, and we're there for Quebec.
Honourable member for Similkameen, South Okanagan, West Kootenay.
Mr. Speaker, the
that's
Liberals
fair.
promised to spend less but have introduced the largest budget deficit in history outside of
In
COVID.
history.
This at a time when one in
And when will the opportunity
Look at her.
on the
Oh,
ground
sorry.
deliver for Canadians?
Her
and
earrings
they should
match.
be supporting
That's
the budget.
phenomenal.
The honourable member for Côte-du-Sud, Rivière-du-Sud. Mr. Speaker, it's clear this minister does not understand the reality on the ground because, according to a NANOS poll, 1 in 5 Canadians have skipped paying a bill just to put food on.
Yeah, I'm having the same thing, Dr. Bastrings. There's definitely some MPs that are my age or younger, but the sickness aches are starting to set in. No, Gavin. Well, I'm glad that you didn't strain this morning and that you're resting, because the aches are the worst. The worst part.
On the table. Frankly, this is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, can this Prime Minister explain to my constituents and theirs why he's stubbornly sticking to this industrial carbon tax while families
Ugh,
have to
there's no such thing.
Rivière-du-Sud. Mr. Speaker, it's clear this minister does not understand the reality on the ground because, according to a NANOS poll, 1
Oh,
in 5
he's saying
Canadians
it
have
over
skipped
again.
paying a bill just to put
Leftist
food on the
immune
table.
system issues.
Reality on today's non-constituent carbon tax. The Honourable Minister of Industry. Not only do we know that Quebec
Tie a little, maybe I hear it works for some people.
because we're going to deliver for them. Good jobs in my riding. This riding will ensure that people who work at Alstom
Yeah, I will say, like,
have
the
good
white on
jobs,
white on white
will
on
be able
white
to
is a
buy
lot.
groceries, and will
But this
be
vest
able
looks so
to
warm and
meet the needs
cozy.
of their families. Quebecers also want a good healthcare system. The federal government has continued to increase health. Well, in past budgets, they've increased health transfers, and we're keeping them the same in this one. And we're supporting the construction of hospitals. The Quebec government asked for this, and we've delivered for them, and we're there for Quebec.
Honourable member for Similkameen, South Okanagan, West Kootenay.
Mr. Speaker, the Liberals promised to spend less but have introduced the largest budget deficit in history outside of COVID. This at a time when 1 in 5 Canadians say they've skipped paying a bill to afford groceries this past year. Liberals had a chance to lower food prices. Instead, they increased the industrial carbon tax on our farms, driving up the cost of fertilizer and farm equipment. Why is this Prime Minister increasing the industrial carbon tax and making...
Oh, we got an error. 30. The Tylenol will only help your tism, and I don't need to set up Pride painting Warhammer minis. Oh, that's because the live ended. In committee yesterday, there's a new plan to allow the citizenship by descent, new Canadians to vote worldwide at embassies and Canadian elections. The Liberals should have a policy where any MP dressed in matching colors should be gifted a BMW. They're officially Power Rangers. Come on, CPAC, you can do it, I believe. Heck. I wish there was too, Dr. Badstrings. Can you imagine a question period where only the truth is allowed to be said? That would be wild. I need a penalty box. Alright, let's see. Okay, we're about here. Let's see if the CPAC can... Oh. Okay, we'll fast forward, but this is about where we
Producers
were.
are seeing their costs skyrocket because of the industrial carbon tax.
This at a time when 1 in 5...
They are seeing the investments made in this budget. New debt that will be left to these exact same young Canadians to pay for. How is that ethical? How is that fair? How is that remotely fiscally responsible?
Ethical, even.
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, one number, 67,000 jobs.
Oy.
And how are we supporting them? We are supporting them by investing in their health. And through Budget 2025, we're investing $5 billion to renew hospitals and healthcare centers, $97 million to recognize skilled professionals faster, and new supports for personal support workers. And Mr. Speaker, don't just take it from me, take it from CMA. They're saying this is a right step in the right direction to support the health of our nation.
We just need Elizabeth May to be the speaker.
The honourable member for North Island, Powell River.
I have a simple question for the Liberal government. Over the
Ugh,
past
they're
10 years,
so
they've
condescending.
doubled Canada's national debt. In that same time, unsurprisingly, they have also doubled the amount of taxpayers' money that they waste paying interest on that debt. In fact, today
Oh,
we
I know.
now spend this interest.
And that includes
Whoa, great tie sighting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We are building Canada strong, and that includes the spaces and places that Canadians go to play, to practice, and to exercise, Mr. Speaker. A healthy lifestyle is preventative medicine, and we
Paper
are
made
building
you
the
something
facilities
very
necessary
useful.
right
What is it?
across this country.
Great tie.
New rinks, new pools, new field houses, so the next generation of Canadians can have better physical literacy, a healthier
What did she
lifestyle,
make, Anu?
and they can connect with their communities in those important places, Mr. Speaker. Why won't the Conservatives join us? Build Canada strong and make sure that every community has access to those facilities, that infrastructure that keeps us healthy and
It's
our
a summer
communities
vacation
connected.
Yeah, imagine Anu.
Bay of Quinte.
Oh, liberal
Mr.
question?
Speaker, in my riding the Bay of Quinte, so many of my neighbors are friends of veterans, family members of veterans, or veterans themselves. It's a privilege then and an honor to be here and representing them. The
Yeah,
generational
liberal
budget
question.
introduced by
No.
Both across Canada. The honourable member for St. Albert, Sturgeon River.
Change you at a moat and an update spit. Ooh, very nice.
Company Brookfield are defying an order of this House to testify at committee about his use of offshore
Whoa,
tax havens.
subtitles.
This is tantamount
Whoa. Someone broke YouTube.
to contempt of Parliament. So, will the Prime Minister pick up the phone and tell his pals
Yeah, Vapor is great.
Brookfield to comply
Vapor
with
is the
House
one that
order,
drew
or is he complicit in the cover-up?
my little mini me here with the hippo.
Mr. Speaker, the news today was that we created 67,000 jobs.
Yeah.
67, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, there it is.
It's great news. We are growing the economy and the budget 2025. Great news. The news today was that we created 67,000 jobs. 67.
Oy. What's the deal with the 3 kids in front of the speaker? Those are the pages. So they are the ones that pass around papers, or sometimes you'll see them in the back here running around. Sometimes they bring water in. I aged another decade. Yeah, that was a lot. And I feel like she's the same age as me.
It's great news. We are growing the economy.
She clearly has middle school
budget,
kids.
Budget 2025 is making historic investments that are going
She
to
did.
keep this
Yep,
economy
she did.
moving for generations to come. Mr. Speaker, why don't the Conservatives stand up and support this investment budget?
Honourable member.
You show the kids someone in Parliament use their memes, the memes will die. Yeah. That's so embarrassing. Yeah, that was a weird moment. The House of Commons has fallen.
Mr. Speaker, evidently he is complicit because here are the facts. The
Yeah, it
Prime
is.
Minister was chair of the company.
Permanent
He is
record
Canada's
forever and
biggest
ever.
tax
They'll be in
dodger.
the Hansard.
Not only that, he set up investment funds in Bermuda and the Cayman Islands in which
Oh,
he
there it is. He did not. He's 45. Not quite the same age as her.
Stony Creek.
This government is the most expensive in Canadian history. Every dollar the Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of Canadians. The more they
I do appreciate a black on black on black suit, but it kind of looks like he's either a bouncer or going to a funeral. How many kids does she think are tuning in? Do you know what that was for? That was for every single parent that has sat in their rooms and listened to their kids go 6'7", 6'7".
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, Oscar Wilde described a cynic as someone who knows the cost of everything but the value of nothing. On this side of the house, we value investments in healthcare. We value investments in jobs. We value
He looks like a bad preacher trying to sell me a Bible. Yeah, that's fair.
investments in the Canadian Armed Forces, and we value investments in housing. This is irony and hypocrisy on full display when the member stands up advocating for more money for housing before he votes against a budget that has record investments in housing. On this side of the House, we're going to listen to Canadians, make the investments and improve their quality of life.
I know.
I wish for once the Conservatives could do the same.
I know. I like Sean Fraser. You know, he is, like you said, he's a lukewarm liberal. But I don't know. There's something about his vibes that I like. They're not allowed to wear ascots in the parliament. In the rules. Oh, he is unhappy. Yikes.
Premier Irby says the
Yeah,
court
I would have a
decided
coffee with him, but I wouldn't vote for him. That's fair.
not to provide Richmond homeowners with notice of the couch and court litigation, but the couch and lawyer said the judge in the case said the parties were free to provide notice of this
that's a rule.
litigation to private landowners years ago. This includes Canada as represented by the Attorney General. Canada has been and still is missing in action. Why is the Prime Minister being so quiet at a time when people are anxious about their homes and looking for answers?
Yeah, let's talk about style. But ascots are lovely. I know. The maroon and the brown does go hard. You are correct.
Canada disagrees with the BC Supreme Court's ruling and appealed it on September 8th.
Oh.
Further legal clarity is required.
This is someone was asking about this thing. When do we reassess dress rules?
The decision, particularly
Question.
relating to private property rights. British Columbia, the City of Richmond, Musqueam Indian Band, and Tawasin First Nation have also appealed. We will continue to work collaboratively with all parties to uphold the principles of reconciliation, transparency, and legal responsibility to all parties. We remain available for dialogue with the other parties to the litigation throughout this process.
Here. We looked at this yesterday, but I'll pull it up again. Male members wear a jacket, shirt, and tie. Clerical colors are allowed, but ascots and turtlenecks? Turtlenecks have been ruled inappropriate. Out for them turtlenecks. They gonna get you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For Skeena-Multi Valley. And in the meantime, there's chaos and panic in BC. Everybody's complaining, And everybody's blaming each other. The public is blaming Richmond Council. Premier Eby is blaming the court. And this government continues to stay quiet. That was only the second time I've heard this government say anything about that. The first one was made by a staffer. It's always been the Crown's duty to deal with rights and title. That's
God forbid you want to be warm. Yeah.
The Haida court case. Does
Gotta
the
show
Prime
off the
Minister
Adams apples.
have any statements to make to Canadian citizens regarding the Cowichan ruling?
The Honourable Minister.
Blue jeans bad, black jeans fine. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
When I was working as an EA, we were allowed to wear any colored jeans except blue. And like, I mean, that's totally changed. It depends what school you work for. And then we had some teachers that would show up in like sweat sets. And I'm like, how's that okay and my blue jeans are not?
Speaker, we did make an announcement in September on this, and we remain available to work with all parties to address this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable
Okay,
Member for
Morgan.
Richmond Centre Marpole.
Mr. Speaker, homeowners in Richmond are sounding the alarm. The Cowichan court ruling undermines the principle of private property ownership, and many fear their homes and business are at risk. The Liberal government saw this coming and did nothing. No explanation, no assurance, no leadership, and they still remain silent. Richmond's left in the dark. Families are anxious, investors are pulling back, and confidence in our communities is crumbling. Why won't this Liberal government stand up to defend property rights in Richmond and soon across Canada?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I just said to the other member, Canada has disagreed with the BC Supreme Court's ruling and appealed it on September 8th. We remain available for dialogue with the other parties to the litigation throughout this process. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Bowmanville, Oshawa North.
Mr. Speaker, Liberals have banned the vast majority of nicotine pouches for sale in Canada, despite the fact that many can.
What? What? Yeah. Giovanni wants nicotine to be great again. I had a job that was business casual. No instructions other than don't wear jeans. Yeah, I'm currently wearing a Christmas sweater and my pajama pants, so I'm rocking the working from home outfit.
Canadians use these products to help quit smoking. Canadians just want to go to the corner store, the gas station, wherever cigarettes are sold, and choose an alternative product. Even the Neighbourhood Pharmacy Association of Canada agrees. So when will these Liberals do the right thing? When will these Liberals free the Zin?
Are you effing serious? In one question period, we had 6767 and free the Zin.
The Association of Canada agrees. So when will these Liberals
I
do
hate
the
it
right
so
thing?
much.
When will these Liberals free the Zin?
I hate it so much. I hate it so much. He's so proud of himself too. The heck?
Secretary to the Minister of Health.
Mr. Speaker, our government remains firmly committed to reducing smoking rates, especially among youth. While nicotine pouches may have a role in adults who are trying to quit smoking, evidence show they're not risk-free. These products contain nicotine.
Yeah, that's absolutely for a clip. Absolutely. Speaking of which, can one of the mods clip that for me? I need to start taking more clips of stuff. If y'all want to make clips, that would be like the most helpful thing ever.
The developing brain. That's why
I think question period was a mistake.
to ensure they're used appropriately and not marketed or flavored in ways that attract youth. Our priority is protect the health of Canadians and especially our next generation, Mr. Speaker.
For Bowmanville, Oshawa North.
The very same government that likes to push so-called safe supply drugs into our communities now
Oh,
wants to point out
come
nicotine
on.
as a problem for adult usage.
It is.
Mr. Speaker, Health Canada set a target for 2035. They would reduce the number of Canadians smoking to less than 5%. This government should have no excuses for making alternatives to cigarettes available wherever cigarettes are sold. Corner stores, gas stations, wherever. The question remains, when will the Liberals do the right thing? When will they free the Zin?
I hate it so much. Why? I'm gonna start smoking because of you. Yeah, exactly. Like, why is that a thing? Out of all of the topics that he could have brought up, yeah, why this hill?
Speaker, speaking of young people, the first new medical school in the GTA in over 100 years in Brampton, Mr. Speaker. It's happening with a $25 million investment in budget 2025. This government is stepping up to support the new TMU Medical School to train the next generation of doctors in Brampton. This is how we're empowering young Canadians across the country, Mr. Speaker. This is how we build Brampton and Canada strong.
Nice. The honourable member for Red Deer.
Yeah, that was a weird,
Under this
weird
Liberal government, it's
little
easier
segment
for
of
Canadians to
question
continue
period.
smoking than quit. Since former Liberal
Seriously, they're actually gonna like keep this going. Under the Liberal government, it's easier for Canadians to continue smoking than quit.
launched his personal crusade against cigarette alternatives, everything we've heard from this government is smoke
What
and
is
mirrors.
happening?
While nicotine pouches are banned from pharmacies, cigarettes can be bought anywhere. It makes no sense. So
What
instead
is
of
happening
blowing
right
more
now?
smoke, will the minister finally give Canadians a real chance to quit and free the Zin?
Oh my. What is happening? I'm like, yeah, Red Deer might be something for his constituent. Like, what is happening right now?
The Honourable
Buy Rebecca to buy a cigar.
Mr. Speaker, addiction is a serious issue,
Yeah.
and these conservatives are making it blatantly political, which is
Yup.
wrong, Mr. Speaker. Look, nicotine, regardless of where people can access it, causes addiction to nicotine.
Yup.
These conservatives should be absolutely ashamed of themselves, Mr.
Absolutely.
Speaker. We have produced
Multiple
good numbers on
MPs.
nicotine and cigarette reductions, Mr. Speaker. We continue to be there to improve the health of Canadians and make sure that these are available
Nicotine patches.
at the appropriate time and never for children. Never
Yes.
for children.
Going to buy cigarettes from Toys R Us. Oh, what is happening? Vapor talked to her doctor about quitting vaping. You know, isn't recommended? Yeah. Yeah.
The Honourable Member for Madawaska Restigouche, Mr.
Please
Speaker.
don't do more.
As a proud Acadian and a representative of Madawaska Restigouche.
Fridays are usually quiet. This must be a special day today.
Oh, I hate him.
The honourable member, l'honorable député.
The Honourable Member for Madawaska Restigouche.
Restigouche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a proud Acadian representing Madawaska Restigouche in this House, I care deeply about the vitality of Francophone communities. Between 2020 and 2024, there was a strong increase in the number of Francophone permanent residents admitted outside Quebec. To ensure the vitality of our communities, this trend must continue. As we celebrate National Francophone Immigration Week, I would like to ask the...
Yeah, I quit vaping with the nicotine patches. Awesome. But I like to bring it up, I don't know, the whole making it into a slogan in question period.
Minister to explain how the new immigration levels plan will help support the demographic growth of Francophone communities across Canada. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Minister of Immigration, Refugees and
Ah, she's
Citizenship.
standing up with her
I would like
sparkly
to
coat.
thank
Yes.
My colleague for his dedication in 2023
Sparkly jacket.
and in 2024. We surpassed
Zin is a
our
pouch. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hold on. specifically, you are correct. It is a pouch. They were saying patch. A Swedish brand of nicotine pouches. Yeah, you're right. To put between the gums and the lips. Yeah, the tea bag equivalent of dip. Basically, that's what they're getting rid of. Yeah, absolutely, Morgan. Yeah. Cans containing 15 or 20 pouches. 3 to 6 milligrams per pouch. Oy, that's a lot. And if you want your nicotine oral, yeah. Well, a lot of people, this is a whole separate tangent. A lot of people don't chew the gum, right? But Read This In is free marketing for Zyn in the House of Commons. Yeah, this is very weird.
For French-speaking permanent residents outside Quebec. Today, as we stabilize overall permanent resident numbers,
absolutely,
we are
Morgan.
to take in over 30,000 francophones per year over the next 3 years, while constantly increasing our annual target for francophone immigration.
Yeah, and their main issue is that it's very easy to access, and they want to keep as much nicotine-related products out of the hands of young people.
That is how we will reach our target for 12% francophone immigration, and how we will strengthen communities everywhere.
Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
Mr. Speaker, non-citizen Abraham Daniel Abraham was convicted for criminally abusing his dog Simba. Abraham repeatedly punched and kicked Simba, tied him to a pole so high his front legs dangled off the ground. Simba couldn't lie down or sit and was left crying and yelping. Yet Abraham remains in Canada with no deportation guarantee. That's disgusting.
Tired, y'all. What the hell is happening this morning? We got 6-7. We got nicotine pouches. And we got deporting someone. I mean, animal cruelty is fucked. Don't get me wrong.
Why hasn't the immigration minister strengthened the Immigration Refugee Protection Act to make sure non-citizens convicted of serious crimes like Simba's abusers are swiftly deported?
What is happening? The problem isn't that he's an immigrant. The problem is that he hurt his dog. Absolutely, Anu. Animal cruelty is effed, and that person is a horrible person for what he did. But she just said he was convicted. Why does he need to be deported?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, Canada has a robust system of removals and inadmissibility that enables us to take action, Mr. Speaker. I will commit to the member opposite to look into it and get back to her, but what the circumstances behind the incident that she refers to is abhorrent, and I condemn it wholeheartedly, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, that was such a non-answer.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
The problem is, Mr. Speaker, we have an immigration minister that's so weak, she won't even stand up and answer questions to this.
Oh, she's wearing jeans.
I asked about the Immigration Refugee Protection Act. She won't stand up. So I'll ask again. That case is so disgusting. We've had so many cases like this. Serious criminals, non-citizens who need to be deported. Will she stand up and commit to strengthening the Immigration Refugee Protection Act to make sure that these non-citizens who are convicted of serious crimes are actually deported?
Here, here. The Honourable Minister of Citizenship, Refugees, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we are delivering for Canadians every day. This government's highest priority is the safety and security of Canadians. Let me be clear, a foreign national who's been convicted of a crime is inadmissible to Canada. We will work with the IRB, we work with CBSA, we work with CSIS, we work with the RCMP to ensure that we deport anyone that needs to be deported. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
Except for a Pakistani national who was convicted of raping his niece, who came into Canada while being on the UK sex offender list, or Simba's abuser here. This government doesn't take this seriously. In fact, it's so bad, Mr. Speaker, that this week the Liberals admitted that they didn't even know how many criminals, convicted criminals, they gave citizenship to. Wow. Seriously, they put that in an order paper question. So I'll give her one more opportunity here. How many citizenships did the minister issue to criminals in Canada? Because her department couldn't answer this week.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. Foreign nationals who are convicted of a crime are inadmissible to Canada. On this side of the House, we take the safety and security of all Canadians very seriously, and we act. We work with our RCMP and our policing partners in CBSA to ensure that we act in accordance with the law and the IRPA regulation and act. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Mr. Speaker, while many Canadians are looking at the $78 billion deficit
I got nothing,
number
y'all.
in this budget, many others are, while concerned about that deficit, wondering about our children and our grandchildren and the growing ecological deficit.
Grandma May.
From lack of action on climate, lack of action to protect nature. We look at this budget and want to weep. Those of us who are grandparents and seniors right across
Thank
this
you,
country,
Morgan.
young people want to know, will this government step up
Yay,
and
a
tackle
palate
the
cleanser.
generational, ecological...
If you guys want to make clips of the Discord, of the live at any time, there's now a channel in the Discord to post them. That helps me a ton if you guys can do that.
deficit.
Silence.
L'Honorable Ministre.
The Honourable Minister.
Silence.
For a very important question and our advocacy, Mr. Speaker. In the throne speech, we said we must fight climate change, and our new climate competitiveness strategy includes measures to reduce emissions, including by strengthening the industrial...
Thank you, AOD Fear 9, for the subscription. I appreciate that.
carbon pricing, incentivizing investments to reduce carbon, and mobilizing private capital. We're also creating a new youth climate corps, Mr. Speaker, to empower young people in the fight against climate change. We are committed to protecting nature by halting and reversing nature and biodiversity loss.
I actually thought he said a new climate corpse.
Through reinforced efforts to conserve 30%.
The Honourable Member for Nanaimo Ladysmith.
Seriously?
We've introduced the most costly and largest budget deficit in history outside of
through our investment and
There is a law for Rosemont La Petite Patrie. Mr. Speaker, there is a lot wrong with this Liberal budget, but the climate plan has become a sinister farce at a time when our shared house is burning down. No more emission reductions targets for 2030. No more cap for the oil and gas sector. The climate strategy amounts to a few tax credits for critical minerals and carbon capture. So, subsidies for mining and oil companies. How can the Liberals call this a generational budget when it ignores the fate of future generations? The Honourable Minister of the Environment and Climate Change. Let us be clear, Mr. Speaker. Our government will continue to fight climate change.
It's not that way.
We will do this through a whole of government effort. In our budget, we strengthen the industrial carbon pricing and methane regulations. We will put in place clean fuel regulations. And if the member wants to talk about tax credits, yes, we will offer tax credits for clean electricity because that is good for all Canadians, including Quebecers.
Alberni.
Mr. Speaker, friendship centers are lifelines for Indigenous people in urban communities, providing food, housing, safety, culture, and belonging. The urban Indigenous population is growing rapidly, and friendship centers are already stretched past the breaking point. Their core funding runs out in March. Budget 2025 offered nothing. Without stable, permanent funding, programs will be cut and doors will close. This is not reconciliation. It is abandonment. When will this government commit to renewing this critical funding to support Indigenous peoples with long-term, secure, and stable funding?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Indigenous Services.
Mr. Speaker, we put Indigenous children, families, and essential services first. This new government is innovating to better serve Canadians by improving efficiencies and coordinating across all departments. But the federal government has a distinct duty to Indigenous people and a key opportunity to strengthen a renewed, respectful relationship. That's why the priority in Budget 2025 is to protect critical services like water, housing, and infrastructure in community, and to ensure that changes made strengthen service delivery.
This concludes question period for today.
Yes, the point of order.
A poo.
Mr. Speaker, I am asking for unanimous consent to renew my SO 31 due to an
Oh my word, grow up.
Does the Honourable, does the House give unanimous consent for the member to redo? Yes, okay, the member may redo his statement.
Mr. Speaker, this week the Liberal government
And no poos. No poos. Oops. And no. Uh-oh. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith makes an announcement. That makes me so nervous. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What is my opinion on Dispatch episodes 5 and 6? My opinion is don't spoil it because I really want to play it. That is my opinion. Let me quickly check something. Morgan is now the top clipper. Whoop whoop. Thanks, friend. I'm scared and very awake now. Yeah. I don't like that, that's for sure. Don't like it. Don't like it. Especially if she's going to be on there with Nicolaitis. That's not a great sign at all. I have... There we go. Ba-bum-bum. There we go. With one clip, yeah. All right, she's gonna be live in a couple minutes. That's fair, Potato Mage. We're just gonna sit and chill for a minute. Maybe they'll announce they're stepping down. Yeah, we could always hope. You caught me being hella grumpy. Yeah. It's gonna happen, I'm afraid. There's only so much Danielle Smith BS with school stuff I can handle. Appreciate you too, Potato Mage. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Guernsey. I know, that's what we're gonna listen to some chill music for a minute. Ooh, I know what we can do. New game, The Last Caretaker, sci-fi survival craft mystery. I do have a positive video, but I need to find it. Aw, thanks, Potato Mage. I appreciate that a lot. It's been a good week. I've been trying to do a little bit more popping into other people's streams and trying to get my name out there, and we're getting there. I appreciate that all of you are here every day. I said this to Faya Kim on Faya's stream the other day. If someone had told me 2 years ago or a year ago that I would be doing political commentating, oh my gosh, I would have laughed in your face so hard. So hard. But I'm enjoying this, and I hope you're enjoying it. I mean, you're here, so must be okay. ATA. Thanks, Dr. Badstrings. Hopefully I'm back and you can hear me. I'm trying to... Are we okay? Yeah, everything's cutting in and out, I think. Oy, oy, oy. Or did we stabilize a little bit? Think. Are we back, YouTube? Okay for now? Okay. I'm gonna switch over to this for a minute. Probably because I have way too many things open right now. Alright, now that we've had a little bit of a breather. It did, Anu. It did. Let's do some positive news. Oh.
Thank you for joining us. The Convention of the Alberta Teachers Association will provide a statement about taking legal action in relation to Bill 2.
Here we go.
Thank you, Heather, and good afternoon, everybody. Today, Alberta's teachers take the next step in defending not only their rights, but the rights of every Albertan who believes that governments must be bound by law, not merely driven by convenience. Last week, the government of Alberta did something no Alberta government has ever done before. It used the notwithstanding clause to silence teachers and strip them of their charter rights. This government's overreaching decision to apply the notwithstanding clause to Bill 2 goes beyond forcing teachers to end a lawful strike, imposing a settlement, and restricting free collective bargaining. It sets a dangerous precedent that threatens the fundamental freedoms and legal protections.
Very strong opening. I think it's important to watch this before whatever the heck Danielle Smith wants to say, because she's going to be responding to this.
Afforded to all Albertans. And let's call this what it is. It is an abuse of power. This clause was not used to protect children, or to preserve democracy, or to address an emergency. It was used to win an argument. It was used to crush lawful, peaceful collective action, the same kind of action that built safer workplaces, fair pay, and public education itself. And if this is not just a teacher's issue, in every school across this province, teachers are stretched to the breaking point, trying to give students what they deserve in classrooms that have grown too crowded and underfunded. Parents see it, students feel it. What teachers have been asking for, the conditions that allow children to...
This is the leader of the Alberta Teachers Association announcing that they're going to take legal action against the Alberta government.
...thrive, and they've been silenced for saying so. When a government uses the notwithstanding clause to take away the rights of one group, no one's rights are safe. What began as a dispute over class size and funding has become...
Well, and that's why I'm like, we should watch this, and then we're going to see Danielle Smith's response.
A question of whether this government believes in the rule of law or merely the rule of power. Teachers who put everything on the line are doing what they've always done.
Oh
Serving
yeah,
their
absolutely,
students,
Tyrion.
keeping learning alive, and holding their communities together. But make no mistake, the fight for justice continues. Today, the Alberta Teachers Association is taking the first legal step to challenge this abuse of power. Public education has a vital role in preparing active citizens to participate in our democracy. Teachers are obliged as professionals to defend democratic institutions, so undertaking this challenge is a step we must take. Therefore, we have filed an originating application in the Alberta Court of King's Bench, the most direct and efficient way to launch a constitutional challenge. In it, we are applying for an interlocutory injunction, a motion asking the court to pause the operation of Bill 2 while the full case is heard. In this action, teachers will ask the court to declare that the government's use of the notwithstanding clause
I
was
hope so,
improper
Morgan.
and invalid. Declare that the government's attempt to shield itself from judicial review through Section 14 of the Act, the so-called privative clause, is unconstitutional, as it seeks to prevent the courts from doing its job. Also, to declare that Bill 2 violates the freedom of association and freedom of expression guaranteed by Section 2 of the Charter Rights and Freedoms. This legal action is not symbolic, it is necessary. We're standing up for the Charter itself, for the rule of law, and for the limits that protect citizens from arbitrary government decisions. Our message to the government is simple. You may silence teachers in the legislature with Bill 2, but you cannot silence them in the courts. Our message to Albertans is equally clear. This fight belongs to you too. Because if the government can do this to teachers today, it can do it to nurses, to paramedics, to tradespeople, to anyone tomorrow. The rights that we defend are your rights, and we will defend them with everything we have. We will pursue every legal avenue to restore what was taken, not only for teachers, but for the integrity of the Charter itself. The association will fight with principle, with purpose, and with deep conviction that the law must serve the people, not the government. This is not the end of a strike. It is a continuation of a stand. Teachers have been forced back to their classrooms, but their courage has not been extinguished. It's only growing, and we will now take this fight to the courts. And through that courage, Alberta will see that justice, though delayed, cannot be denied.
Heck yes.
Thank you, and I'm more than happy to take your questions.
Steven Sandor, Edmonton Journal. If you get this injunction, if the court rules in your favor, will you go back on the picket lines immediately?
We will analyze what we do at that time because it does put us back into a strike position, and we will make sure that we do what is necessary to ensure that
He is
the
a good
stand that
speaker,
teachers
yeah.
have taken, the position that they've taken around funding and class sizes and classroom conditions will still move forward.
Injunction process are pretty quick. How quickly are you hoping for a decision on this?
Sooner the better.
Miriam, how financially, ready is the ATA to take on this legal battle?
We realize that this is an uphill battle and that it will cost us. But what is the price of freedoms? What is the price of having your rights stripped away? And I think that is a priceless fight that our members are willing to take.
And just my fault is, when was the injunction put out?
This was filed today.
You ever done anything like this before?
Association has done charter challenges before. Actually, we were just talking about this earlier today. My third day in office, we filed a charter challenge because the government was not willing to use the table that was within the arbitration that we had around salary. So we've done this before in the past on several occasions.
With any luck?
We've won some and we've lost some. But the battle is what's important, right? And we know this is an uphill battle. We know that the government has put these provisions in place to get themselves out of this.
Neil Smith is always
But we're
late.
still
She
gonna
was
take
supposed
that
to start
challenge
at
on, because
11.
It's not only
She's
about us.
always
it's
late.
about everybody in this province. All workers, all Albertans have a vested interest in this.
That's what this is. We're just waiting for her to show up.
Broader, but we're obviously seeing Saskatchewan, their
trans legislation we sent up to the Supreme Court, and they're thinking that that might be able to set some kind of precedent. I mean, different situations, but do you hope, notwithstanding clause use of both situations, that that could have an impact if it goes in their favor?
Well, definitely looking at other situations that are happening across many jurisdictions in the country. So we know
Yeah, almost,
Saskatchewan is
Ninja.
one. There are some, I believe in Ontario, some other provisions going on as well. So we're watching that very closely, and we've been fortunate as an association to have had many people from across the country reach out to us to support us in this fight because they realize the seriousness of what has happened here in Alberta.
You say that you're going to pursue every legal avenue. Let's say the court does not grant you the injunction. What happens next?
We'll continue on with the major case that we're moving forward with the constitutional challenge.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions here in person, we're going to move online. I don't currently see any hands up at the moment, so I'll give you a moment to gather your thoughts.
So awkward. Nobody asks questions. Just stand there and look pretty. I don't know. I just all through the pandemic when we would be sitting here and waiting for her to come out and talk about, or not her.
Morgan, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Hi, Mr.
Whenever
Schilling. Thanks for taking my question.
it's not paused. It's playing.
I'm just wondering, like, to what extent are you prepared to push this legal challenge down the
Source
road? Like,
stream
if the government
returns, sort of.
counters. How far are you willing to take this fight?
We're willing to go the distance because standing up for your rights in this province matters. This fight matters. And
Oh,
it's not just a
this,
teacher's
yeah,
fight.
he's
This
very
is
still.
Everybody's fight in this province. Everybody who's listening to this conference right now, everybody who's going to read this story later. This is your fight too. We all have a vested interest in it, and we will take it to the distance.
Take it to
And
the
then as a
distance.
follow-up, I'm sure that you've received legal advice on this. What did the ATA's lawyers indicate was the possibility of success when I know we haven't seen a lot of uses of the notwithstanding clause. So what was
Or
your
any.
lawyers' input on how this could go for the ATA?
Well, there is, we know this is an uphill battle, as I said before, but we know that the challenge is worth it. So it's a risk that we're willing to take as an association on behalf of our members, on behalf of the charter itself, and on behalf of all Albertans.
Ninja.
Thank you for your question. I'm going to go to Janet now. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Jason. How long will it take you or the ATA to file the broader charter challenge?
I believe both were tabled today.
Nice. They got both of them out
Or
today.
filed today, sorry.
Okay, so the broader charter challenge, it's an application for injunction and the broader charter challenge both filed today.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
So obviously one might assume or guess that your war chests are a little bit depleted by the strike and covering folks' benefits during that strike. Will the ATA or is the ATA accepting donations or financial contributions from other organizations? If you're saying it's everybody's fight, are you accepting contributions from other organizations to help you cover these legal fees?
No, throughout the strike, we actually received donations from all sorts of organizations, including other unions across Canada, to support teachers during the strike. And we will continue to accept donations from other organizations if they see it's a value for them to be involved in this fight. And we will welcome that because, like I said, this is everyone's fight.
Interesting.
Thank you for your question. Graham, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead, please.
Okay, great. Yeah, sorry, I'm coming in a bit late. I apologize. I was wondering, though, on a sort of related topic, and that is this idea of the unprecedented response from Gil McGowan and the AFL and union leaders. That hasn't materialized. Now, it seems they're still working on it. But what's your response to that? The idea was, if the government, of course, brings in a notwithstanding clause, there'd be this massive reaction from the labor movement, and we have not seen that. So what's your response to that?
Well, we know that when it comes to actions from labor, that it takes time to organize. that we respect the democratic processes that each union has in order to get themselves organized. So that work is underway right now. Those meetings are still happening. Unions are still talking to their members. They're still talking to each other about the fact that this action took place last week. And let's not forget just how quickly this was pushed through the legislature last week, tabled at 6 o'clock and passed by 2 a.m. And that's unprecedented in itself. And so we need to make sure that we hold government to account not only for using the notwithstanding clause, but also playing loose and fast with their parliamentary rules as well.
All right, that kind of gives you the general idea there. Let's see what Danielle Smith's going to say in return, because she's not happy. It's not.
You ready?
Is she ever?
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm pleased to be joined by Dimitrios Nicolaides, the Minister of Education and Childcare, for today's announcement. I'd also like to recognize our important guests. We have Joanne Pittman, who is the Chief Superintendent of the Calgary Board of Education, Lynette Anderson, Chief Superintendent of Edmonton Catholic Schools, and...
That's a loud one. Sorry, I'll turn it down. This has been the most disappointing tech I've seen. Even the Communist Party of Canada's letter, like, they didn't riot that day, so they failed. I know. Strikes don't happen like that, and they must be respected. And, like, the nurses came out very strongly in favor, like 98%. Like, it's happening. Yeah, sorry, Guernsey.
Nicole Buchanan, Trustee and Board Chair of Red Deer Public School Board. We have had a challenging start to the 25-26 school year. It's been a difficult beginning for everyone, including students and parents and teachers. And I know it's been a difficult time for teachers and educational assistants. And I do want to thank you for welcoming students back into your classrooms, back to their routines, and back to their education. We recognize that while classes resume, there are issues that remain, and we hear loud and clear from both teachers and parents your concerns.
Sorry, if you thought I was grumpy May when they were talking about the nicotine pouches.
Complexity and size of your classrooms. These issues create challenges for teachers and educational assistants as well as students, and we want to work with you to deal with them head on. That's why I'm here with Minister Nicolaides to announce the Class Size and Complexity Cabinet Committee. This 11-person task force will be co-chaired by myself and Minister Dimitrios Nicolaides. And
no freaking way. She is going to be in charge of the classroom complexity group.
Includes representatives from government, school boards, and the Alberta Teachers Association. We're here to listen. We're here to work with you to chart a new path forward.
Yeah, you do,
and
Ninja.
Hey, lady. This is not just another
AOD Fear.
Group or panel.
Thanks for the
this
follow.
Is a committee ready to make decisions and implement change immediately and with urgency. We have modeled the committee similarly to the Edmonton Public Safety Cabinet Committee, which was appointed in January of 2024, who within weeks had created and opened the Navigation Centre in Edmonton and supported Edmonton Police in the removal of encampments across downtown Edmonton.
Oh, good. Let's compare figuring out classrooms to the fact that you raided encampments.
And connecting those in need with life-changing services. We saw rapid and successful results with that model, and we are ready to come at this issue with the same openness and willingness to be innovative and find new solutions to complex problems. Our work begins immediately, and it's threefold. First, throughout November, Alberta's government will continue working with school boards to collect data on class sizes and composition. That data will help us set the criteria to guide the Minister of Education and Childcare in allocating resources to classrooms and to inform our work to reduce complexity and address classroom disruptions. Over the coming months, the Cabinet...
They're not classroom disruptions. They are children who need help.
Committee will also hear from school boards and educators, educational assistants, complex needs specialists, parents, and others to gather the feedback that we need to make effective decisions about funding and targeting resources. That work includes hiring 3,000 new teachers and 1,500 educational assistants over the next 3 years. It will also
Over the next 3 years, every school in Alberta will get 1 teacher and 0.5 of an EA. In 3 years. That's the best they can do.
to support the advancement of our government's commitment to invest $8.6 billion to build 130 new schools and provide over 100 modular classrooms in the growing communities that need them urgently. Second, we will be acting on recommendations from the Aggression and Complexity in Schools Action Team established in June. The team has completed their report that includes recommendations to reduce disruptions in the classroom and strengthen supports for students and educators, and will be released.
I live in a smaller city and they cleared out encampments in the nearest big city. The drug unhoused problem. Yeah, absolutely. They didn't solve the problem by breaking up encampments. They just put them somewhere else.
The report in the coming weeks, and will begin implementing those recommendations immediately. I want to reiterate that we are deeply committed to making real and meaningful change for the students and teachers in our classroom. Solving these challenges will not be a simple task, but I have every reason to believe that we will find solutions, and we will only do so by working together with teachers and educational assistants for students and for public education system that is not only the best in the world, but enables every student to learn, grow, and pursue their dreams.
You know, it's almost like they had an option to do this a month ago. It's almost like they could have sat down at a table with them a month ago. Or 6 months ago. Like.
Now I'd like to invite Minister Nicolaides to say a few words.
Oh, I hate him even more. Hi, Peacefire Now. How's it going, friend? I am.
Thank you so much.
I'm doing okay. We're about to watch my least favorite human in the world, so you know. You're coming into my stream watching Grumpy May, but that's okay.
That's Premier.
Welcome.
And good morning, everyone.
Mons, can we get a shout out for Peacefire Now? If you guys want to see some more awesome political content, let's give Peacefire Now some follows. They are an excellent content creator, and we follow content creators in this space. Yeah, it's almost like Neuropunk. We just need to watch that interview after this just to be reminded that not everyone believes in their bullshit.
In the last 3 years, over 80,000 new students have joined our schools. This means our classrooms are bigger and more complex than ever before.
Shocker.
Class size and classroom complexity are the biggest problems in our education system today. The development of this new cabinet committee shows our government is serious about fixing these problems. We want to find the right solutions for Alberta, and we are ready and willing to do the work. Building on the Premier's comments, I will explain a little bit more about what the committee will do.
They just announced, Peacefire Now, that they're going to leftist anger management issues. They're going to implement a committee to deal with the school stuff, and Danielle Smith is going to head the committee. Just ridiculous.
And how we plan to work together to get results for Alberta. And I want to provide a clear message to all Albertans. We will deliver the results that you expect.
No, you will not. Fierce Tuskers, when Vapor gets back, she's got a winter version of May in the corner here that I'm super excited for you guys to see. It's very cute.
First, I want to provide a little bit more information about the dramatic increase in student population.
Oh, here we go.
And then I'll talk a little bit more about how the committee will achieve its goals. Over the past...
I'm going to put $10 on racism.
Last few years, Alberta's population has increased dramatically. 2023 was a record-breaking year, and our province saw the largest single-year growth ever recorded. This influx of new people came fast and furious. This came at a time when some school boards were looking at eliminating and reducing spaces. I know in Calgary, they were looking at...
Okay, so far, immigration was too quick when the Alberta government put out things going move to Alberta. Yeah, the immigration campaign they put out. Oh, and also the school boards really mucked that up.
At reducing spaces, and other school divisions as well were looking to reduce spaces due to underutilization. Both in Calgary, in Edmonton, and in other corners of the province. In 2022, Alberta's population increased in a measured and comfortable pace. However, by 2024, our population exploded.
It's almost like in 2022, something was happening. Something was going on between 2020 and 2022 where immigration maybe wasn't the top of people's minds.
The number of new Canadians jumped from 59,000 in 2022 to over 150,000 in 2024, a 159% increase in just 2 short years. In the same 2 years, the number of people coming from other provinces increased to over 48,000.
Because you ask them to.
There was absolutely no way the province could absorb so many people in such a short time. Housing prices increased and naturally schools filled up like we've never seen. These
never seen, it could never have anticipated.
new students also came with increased complexity. We saw, for example, a 34% increase in the number of refugee students. And
there it is. There it is. Hey, Kappa Appa. Good morning. There's the racism. We found it. Didn't take long.
Today, students who speak English as a second language represent 31% of Calgary public education system's entire population, which equates to 44,000 students.
Hi, Kappa Appa.
Now, let me be clear. Alberta is a place of opportunity, and we welcome everyone into our province.
No, you don't. We welcome you in, but we won't have any spaces for it. We won't have spaces or resources or, what's the word? Stuff in place. Damn it, what's the word?
So they can enjoy the Alberta advantage.
Infrastructure in place.
The influx of new people means that people see promise in our remarkable province. But opening the doors to this many people over a short amount of time has brought our education system to the brink.
No.
But our government will step up and address these challenges responsibly. Some of the steps we have taken to date to meet these challenges include, as the Premier mentioned, an $8.6 billion
Thank you, Phil Taylor.
billion commitment to build more than 130 new schools. It included the creation of the Classroom Complexity Grant in 2023. It included a 10% increase in education funding over the last 2 years and more. And today we're taking another step with the Class Size and Complexity Cabinet Committee.
I hate the fact that this cabinet committee, they didn't mention that there were going to be teachers on that committee.
This committee will include the Premier and I, the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, the
Okay, that's positive.
Minister of Assisted Living and Social Services, and the Minister of Child and Family Services. Non-voting members of the committee will include the...
Oh, there it is. Did you hear that? Everybody else will be non-voting members of the committee. So UCP ministers under these two will be the voting members.
Superintendents of Edmonton Catholic Schools and Calgary Public, the President of the College of Alberta Superintendents, Dr. Corsi from the Alberta Teachers Association, and others. The committee will also invite other participants as needed to leverage their expertise and views.
Like teachers?
And I want to be clear, as the Premier has noted, the priority of this committee is to make decisions quickly. This committee will not spend months just to provide recommendations. The time for recommendations has passed, and the time for actions is now. More specifically, the committee will work to set rules for tracking and reporting class size and classroom makeup, invest $300 million over the next 3 years. That will include hiring 1,500 EAs, hire 3,000 teachers where they are needed the most, create a new policy for inclusive education, and...
Oh, I really don't like that. That, again, I've said this 100 times. Governments redoing policies for inclusive education scares the absolute crap out of me, because that means they are going into the rights of these kids to be in a classroom with their peers. That's what they're going to start messing with next.
implement the recommendations of the Aggression and Complexity Action Team, and as well give advice on adding modular classrooms and special spaces.
Yep.
I'm also pleased.
I don't know if you were here the other day, Ninja Cupcake, but they, in 2026-27, kindergarten to grade 3 classrooms are going to have literacy and numeracy tests given. And all of those documents with all of our children's information goes to these guys. And they will decide what to do with that information.
To announce today as well the creation of a teacher advisory council.
Oh, brother.
Teachers are at the heart of our schools. Their ideas and experiences help us make good decisions about class size and classroom complexity. The advisory council will work directly with the Minister of Education and Childcare to share teachers' voices and to ensure that they're elevated to the highest level. The council will operate continuously for the next.
What we're going to do is we're going to put more people between us and the teachers.
2 years and meet regularly to talk about what is
Oh, I
happening in
hate
our
it so
classrooms
much.
and to provide more details about what teachers need. The council will provide critical, on-the-ground perspective directly from the front lines of our education system. This perspective is invaluable for developing and refining policies that are effective, practical, and truly support student learning.
Yeah, remember?
This will create a
Remember
new
when
level of
conservatives wanted
communication
less
with our
government in
teachers so that we
your
can
life?
work together to address the challenges our education system
Less
is
government
facing.
overreach?
More details about the advisory council will be released soon. But because of the steps we have outlined here today, I am confident we will deliver the results that Albertans expect. In closing, I ask you to visit the Government of Alberta website to learn more about these important steps. Thank you. And I'm pleased to
Oh, it's
invite,
okay, Neuropunk.
Nicole
I'm
Buchanan, Chair
furious.
of Red Deer Public Schools, to provide her comments.
Thank you, Premier and Minister. I am honored to stand with you today as we take action to support Alberta's schools. Our classrooms in Alberta are growing and changing. With more students and greater diversity, teachers face new challenges every single day. As a school board trustee, the creation of this class size and complexity cabinet committee is a major step forward for students, teachers, and
it's
families across our
brutal.
province. With over 17 years working as a police officer, some of those spent as a school resource officer, I've learned this.
Here's usually, yeah. Hi, Ash, by the way, good morning. Yeah, so they hired a former cop. Was the only one that they could pay to be here. And she's about to talk about the violence in schools. When children from other cultures physically threaten LGBTQ children, some segregation might be needed for safety. Yeah. Or you hire more staff to deal with that. The segregation is fine, or not segregation, like separating kids is fine, but who is supervising them? Right? You still need more adults in the space to do that.
When people feel heard, they feel valued. And that's when real solutions start to take root. That's why this committee is responding by listening to teachers, school boards, and education partners, making sure their voices guide our decisions. By collecting data on class sizes and classroom needs, this cabinet committee will help direct support to schools that need it the most. The committee will also use expert advice, including recommendations from the Aggression and Complexity in Schools Action Team to guide new policies and solutions. As a mom of 2 school-age students who each have their own individualized plans, I know this means more educational assistance in classrooms, more help for students with special needs, and better conditions for learning. Together, we are making sure Alberta's schools have the support they need for every single student to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to our speakers. Now we'll head into the media Q&A portion of the announcement. We'll start off with questions in the room here at the mic before making our way to the phones. A reminder to state your name and outlet, and we'll be taking one question, one follow-up. We'll go ahead to our first at the mic.
Okay, hi. Hello, can everyone hear me? Premier, Minister? Okay, great, thank you.
That's right.
Oh, sorry, Ted Henley from CBC here in Calgary. I'm just trying.
Getting choppy again? Is anybody else having problems with it? Don't have a disconnect yet. Ed Hanley, yeah. Okay, here. Okay, maybe refresh, Phil?
Trying to figure out what's new here regarding the need to study classroom complexity issues. The needs have been loud and clear for decades from teachers, even going back to the O2 strike here in the city of Calgary. And they've been talking about very similar issues regarding classroom sizes, need for more teachers, et cetera, et cetera. And so what's new with this committee here? Haven't we looked and known about this issue for a while now?
Excellent question. Yeah. Generally good questions. That was a good question. Like, why are we doing another committee? Morning, Rubidoobs.
Well, as the minister said, when we came out of COVID, we were actually on the cusp of having our major school boards talking about school closures, reducing class sizes, reducing school spaces. I think I saw in his notes it was 14,000 school spaces that were set to be eliminated in 2022. So that was the trajectory we were on, that we had stagnant growth for a number of reasons. And I think it took everybody by surprise that we ended up with such a surge in population nationally. It wasn't just Alberta that experienced it, but it added 80,000 additional students a net to the classroom. So it's a whole other level of complexity, especially as many of those students come from war-torn countries. So there's trauma issues, there's potential lags in where they should be at in terms of their education because of disruption. There's English language learning needs. So I think it's the acute pressure that came into the system with the extraordinary immigration policies that we saw over the last 3 years. Normally, we had immigration policies where you'd expect about 300 to 400,000 people a year coming into the country. They went to 2 million per year for 3.
And why is that, Danielle?
Years. So that's what I think has been extraordinary and different. We've had quite a bit of success in developing cabinet committees. We've had them for a number of different reasons. I mentioned the cabinet committee with the encampment removal in Edmonton, which also incidentally led to navigation centers in Edmonton, in Calgary as well. We all have had cabinet committees every time we end up having to go into the hazard season. So we've had to establish emergency management meetings of cabinet to make decisions as we're dealing with fires. We've had to develop 2 different recovery task forces, cabinet committees as well, to deal with the recoveries from some of the devastation that happened in 2 of those fire seasons. We have also developed a cabinet committee right now to address the very serious issues in Royal Alex with alternative level of care patients. And part of the uniqueness about this approach is it allows for us to have all of the cabinet ministers who are impacted or could potentially provide resources to solve a problem at the table, but we also swear in the members so that they can can also share in confidential information and give us confidential advice. So we've had, as I mentioned, 6 or 7 times that we've tried this type of approach. It allows for us to make decisions quickly.
Or, just a thought, could have let the teachers strike as is their constitutional right, and you could have sat at the table with those ministers and the teachers and still not trampled on the rights of Albertans.
Deploy dollars quickly, and then also has the direct line of sight back into cabinet if any additional funding decisions need to be made. So those would be the things that I would say are different this time.
Okay, thank you, Premier. And as a follow-up, you're talking about the success of committees and that type of thing.
It does, Anu.
Why and you mentioned that, some superintendents are going to be part of this advisory committee. I believe it was non-voting, giving in.
Oh, he caught it. He caught it.
Input at least. Why not have teachers there?
Yes.
As part of this committee then, instead of setting up this separate teacher advisory council?
Well, good. We will have teachers there. I think we have to remember that Alberta is the funding partner for education. We have always had a decentralized model. So we've got now 61 different school boards that are public, separate, or francophone. And the approach we've taken in the past has been to provide allocations of dollars based on formulas and then leave it to the school boards to be able to decide, do they want teachers, do they want education assistants?
And now we don't trust the school board, so we're going to do it in the government instead.
I think because of the acute pressure that we're facing in a number of different communities, not all of them, I think what we determined is that they need help from different departments.
Oh, they don't need help from like the people that can actually give them help. They need help from the government that's just going to pay themselves more money to do this.
So, for instance, we started rolling out CASA mental health classrooms, so to deal with issues of anxiety and mental health. And so those are dollars that exist over mental health and addiction. So Rick Wilson's going to be at the table. We also know that Children and Family Services, Cyril Turton asked if he could be on this committee as well, because he's got some very, very high needs clients that are in the children's services system. And we want to make sure that they get seamless support, whether they're in home or in the classroom. Who else am I missing? Mental health. Well, yeah, so I'm just sorry, the other cabinet minister. Oh, and Jason Nixon, of course. Jason Nixon, one of the things that as we were talking through this issue, we realized that there's about $1.5 billion being spent in education on special needs students. But Jason Nixon has a $1.5 billion budget as well, also dealing with young people with special needs. And so we're bringing really all of the resources across multiple ministries to bear on this. And I hope that we'll be able to end up with some collaborations and sharings.
The plan is not to give them more money to do what they need to do. The plan is to take the money that they have and try to spread it further.
New ideas that will come from that. We do have a representative from the Alberta Teachers Association. I know the minister has been working with the ATA to identify an appropriate person. We're working with the education assistants. There's a couple of different associations that represent education assistants. So we'll be working to find a suitable someone who the union would suggest to participate in that. But the superintendents have to be there because they are the ones implementing policy across their entire division. And the trustees have to be there because they're the accountable level of government, and they're brand new. Many of these boards just got elected a few weeks ago, so they also need to be able to get the same information that we are, so that as we make the changes, as we develop new practices, everybody is recruited into ensuring that we have systems in place that will work. This isn't a one-time fix. As you know, when we enter into a school year, it's a whole different configuration of classrooms, and then in the new year, although there isn't that much movement, sometimes there's another whole new configuration of classes. And then once you finish the graduation and you start into a new year, you're back to the beginning again. So I look at this as a continuous improvement and a continuous approach that we're going to have to take to make sure that as we continue to face these pressures, that we have the resources there to take
she's
care
just
of them.
trying to put all the right
be able to put
buzzwords in there as she can. Make sure they're rural, have low class size, no experience dealing with the challenges. Yep, probably.
A committee structure, a cabinet committee structure in place that is going to be able to make decisions over multiple years.
Thank you.
Thanks. Did you want to say anything about your choice from the ATA?
Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment on, of course, we do have a representative from the Alberta Teachers Association, but apart from individuals that are specifically represented, the committee will be reaching out to different stakeholder groups, organizations, individuals,
there's the
inviting
word.
them to come in, share perspective, or if we have particular questions. So just because an individual or an organization is not specifically named as being on the committee does not limit our ability to be able to reach out to a wider audience. We intend to do that. The Teacher Advisory Council is a little separate, of course.
Yeah,
I want to do this to make sure that I have the ability to engage directly with frontline teachers for any and all matters, irrespective of this cabinet committee. I want to bring them up to the highest possible level. And there may be, other policy items or initiatives that I want to get some perspective from teachers on and engage with, or even just listen to some of their views and thoughts. So that can be an ongoing, enduring body to bring our teachers right to the very top of conversation. Not yet. The Teachers Advisory Council will be, and I perhaps can do it here, inviting anyone who's interested. Now we're going to get flooded, but that's okay. Anyone who's interested to please provide us with details so we can populate that committee, and we'll be looking at a meeting date with the cabinet committee. I think we want to get going very quickly here. We haven't set an initial date, but I would anticipate within the next few weeks for our first meeting.
And we'll go to our
I will
next
say
up, Mike
that
Abbott.
the minister has
They do
sent
not
out
want questions.
notification to the superintendents and the school boards that we need to.
So what you missed, Faya, is that they're going to have a bunch of cabinet ministers who are the voting members, and then they'll have other people that can provide information.
To deliver us the data that we're going to need by November the 24th. If you go online and look at the granular data that they have in British Columbia, they go classroom by classroom by classroom. It's literally probably 25,000 plus classrooms that we need to have a look at. And so the process we're going to go through is let's identify the ones that are over the class size recommendation that goes back all the way to the Learning Commission report.
Tuskers.
And then on top of that, let's do another lens of how many kids with complex learning needs are in those classrooms. Those will also be a high priority. And then the third one will be how many kids with English
Yeah, I gotta
language
pick
learning
kiddo
needs
up in 20
are
minutes,
going to-
so.
are in those classrooms as well. So we need to get the holistic look at all the data so that we can start working through the most complex and most difficult situations that teachers and students find themselves in.
And we'll go to our Ted. We'll go to our next question, Mike. It's been 10 minutes.
He's new at this.
It's Stephanie Thomas from CTV News Calgary. My question is for you, Premier Smith. You know, this is looking for reaction to the ATA's legal challenge.
Yep,
Would
this is
Peter
what I wanted.
Lougheed have used the notwithstanding clause?
I think he would have. When I look at what he
Whoa,
saw,
whoa, whoa, what did you say?
You know, this is looking for reaction to the ATA's legal challenge. Would Peter Lougheed have used the notwithstanding clause?
I think he would have.
No, he would
when
not
I look
have.
at what he said in
They are
in
filibustering.
response to a back to work legislation, he was quoted on record saying that if the courts ever affirmed a right to strike and prevented him from ordering his labor groups back to work, he would immediately convene the legislature to invoke the notwithstanding clause. You have to remember this right to strike is brand new and it's been written in by the judges in a 2015 decision. And so
Brand
we're mindful
new?
of that decision. You have to. I encourage you to look at it. What it says is that you can't preemptively stop someone from striking, and if you do, you have to have a mechanism to be able to deal with their outstanding issues. That's what the 2015 decision was. So we didn't stop anyone from striking, but we did get to a point where we had to look at the balance of rights of students to an education and how that was being impacted. And we sadly have recent results from COVID that let us know that after 2 weeks, kids really lose momentum and you get learning loss. So we just simply, we tried, we asked them to come back to the table for mediation. This is the kind of thing that we were proposing that we wanted to do.
No, it was
because
absolutely
we know it's
wasn't.
a lot more complex than just issues that can be resolved at a single bargaining table. You have to bring in all of the different players that we've brought in, but also all of the different ministries. And so we hope that this is a show of good faith. That we were serious
PCH.
about finding a different way to address the complexity issue. And we'll see how the court process plays out.
Okay, my follow-up might be to either of you. It has more to do with today's news conference, but it's about the task force data. And once that's collected, how quickly will we see government implement changes? Does that possibly include,
Also, welcome in, Malern, for your first time. Glad to see you.
the special education classes to help deal with complexity?
Well, I can tell you we've been able to move very quickly. When we established the encampment task force, we were
I
able
hate
to
that she's
identify
comparing
very
it to
quickly
that.
We needed to set up a navigation center and all of the different services that were there, and we've literally helped thousands of people
No,
go
you
through
did
those
not.
centers. It was so successful, we expanded it to Calgary. So those results we began to see within 2 months. With our approach with the Royal Alex, we had heard that
More
there
than
was
one way to
a
skin a
particular
potato.
problem
That's
with
right,
alternative
Rubidoos.
level of care patients that were in acute care beds. So we established that task force, and we started looking at who was in those beds, and we started moving them into more appropriate facilities. Like there were 80 people in our system that had been living in the hospital for 1,000 days or more. And so we started with that. And now there is no one living in hospital for 1,000 days or more. We still have a little more work to do on those who've been in hospital more than 300 days, but we are going to keep on working down. So that's why, because we've had some experience now, and again, that whole process began September 1st, and we're already at a point where
Man, just talking
several
about
hundred
nothing.
alternative level of care patients have been moved into more appropriate facilities, which allows for those beds now to be returned to their intended use, which is acute care. And we're going to keep on going until we manage to have that process play out at every hospital.
Yeah.
But that's why we have some confidence that this is the kind of approach. Start with the data, look at where the outliers are, and get the resources there so that you can address it quickly. So I think you'll be seeing
Stop talking and
action
let
in a
them ask
matter of
questions.
weeks, not months.
They're going to fix classrooms in a couple
Premier
weeks.
Bill Graveland from Canadian Press. Earlier this week, when you were asked about recall petitions, you indicated that you would deal with it once they're filed. What kind of options are you looking at?
Well, I can tell you there's some things that we're concerned about. We're concerned that some of the laws that are out there appear to have been broken, because you're not supposed to be doing GoFundMes. And part of the reason for that is you need to be able to trace every dollar that comes in to fund political parties so that there isn't foreign interference. So we're a bit concerned about that. We're concerned about busing in, because the rules also say that these are supposed to be local campaigns, driven by local concerns. So that concerns us. And we're also concerned that there doesn't seem to be fair process for our those who have a recall petition that has been affirmed. They haven't heard from the elections official. They haven't been verified that they can start their own fundraising and their own campaigning. And so
yeah, because they're not supposed to.
These are some process issues, maybe issues that had been overlooked in previous development of the law, and sometimes when you find problems, you have to solve them. So those would be the kind of things that we're looking
The word is going to rewrite the laws.
at. Are there some areas that we have to be able to modify just to create some procedural fairness and ensure everybody's following the law?
Is there any chance that some of the petitions could be invalidated?
I think it would depend on the level of the violations. As I say, we're just hearing and watching the websites that have been launched, the GoFundMes that have been launched, the pictures of busing in that has occurred. And so there's obviously a process we have to go through to make sure that there is
the signatures don't
fairness,
count if it's from somebody in a different jurisdiction.
Those candidates that have been identified for having an active recall petition, I'd hope that the elections officials would contact them soon, would give them some direction on how they can start raising money so that
they would love to. And they asked for money from the government. They asked for $13 million, and they gave them one.
They can be authorized to do so. And
she's talking about how she has to change the laws about recall petitions to recall MLAs.
And allow them to use their candidate accounts, because we just established legislative frameworks so that that candidates are able to raise money for the candidacies. It seems absurd that those very basic procedural issues have not been resolved. So those are things that we're looking at. We're hoping that the elections officials are able to provide some clarity. And if not, we may have to step in and provide some greater clarity.
Thank you.
And we'll take one more from the mic and then try and take a couple from the phones before coming back to the room. Go ahead.
Hi, Premier. David Winnick, Western Standard. Are you becoming less optimistic about getting a new pipeline deal done in light of the recent budget?
I would say that
I'm going to skip the pipeline question because I actually don't care.
Yeah, there's a lot of spend who say about something. Revenue isn't keeping up. And revenue still that we can get to remove some of the bad laws that will allow for that investment to occur. So I hope to have more to say next week before Grey Cup.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. And we'll take a couple questions from the phones here. Operator, could you put through our first caller, please?
Chris Varco with Calgary Herald. Your line is now open.
Hi, Premier. Just to follow up on that last question, I'm wondering what your reaction was specifically in the budget to some of the proposed changes to the federal emissions cap and the Bill C-59, which your government has been quite critical of in the past.
I would, I have said from the time I got elected that we were putting forward an emissions reduction and energy development plan, which we did in April of 2023. And I have encouraged the federal government to work with us on developing a 2050 target, because, that's a long enough time horizon that you can make sure that you don't have stranded capital, that people can make investments.
That I can push down the road the need to actually do anything about the climate.
Decisions today and ensure that they're going to get their money.
Okay, I have only got about 5 to 10 more minutes, so I'm going to skip some of these questions if that's okay.
Back that you have time for you. As a result, I was just speaking with a company that had intended to do an AI data center with natural gas power in our province.
An AI data center with natural gas power? What the hell is she talking about?
But because of the net zero power regs, that would have meant that their operation would have to be 95% abated by 2035.
Yep.
They said, I can't guarantee that. That's not long enough time horizon, not only to get our money back, but the criminal penalties are too harsh. And so how many other projects don't we know about that got canceled for the same reason? And I just, we had 10 bad years of chasing private investment away. I don't want to have 10 more bad years. So I work with the federal government. Hopefully we can get aligned on a 2050 time horizon. And as I mentioned, we'll hopefully have more to say before Grey Cup.
2035. What makes you think that is achievable right now? And how do the policy changes that are being proposed?
Oh, sorry, hold on.
Just to follow up on that, you've targeted doubling oil and gas production, and specifically you've talked about growing oil production to 8 million barrels a day by 2035. What makes you think that is achievable right now, and how do the policy changes that are being proposed help or hinder that?
Well, I can tell you that there has been a sea change in the conversation about oil and gas development. That I think the world is as what the forecast about it being a foundation fuel, not that it has as barrels of oil market, and that's what will be optimism that we'll be able.
Questions. We'll take one more from the phones and then come back to the room. Operator, could you put through our next caller, please?
Morgan Black with Global News. Your line is now open.
Hi there, this is a question for the Premier. With news that Matt General will resign from the House of Commons and then the floor crossing from the Nova Scotia MP, do you feel this shows dissent in the Conservative caucus and with their leader?
Good question.
You know, I don't know enough about the dynamic. You'll have to ask somebody who's involved in the Conservative Party federally.
But it is a long-standing Alberta MP that is on his way out, so I'm wondering how challenging that would make it for your government to keep the ear of Ottawa when you're pushing for all of those changes you've been mentioning that you're hoping to see on a federal level.
We make sure that we talk with all political parties. Right now, we're having regular daily conversations with the current government. And whenever I go to Ottawa, I make sure that I meet with other political parties so that they know what our perspective is. But I don't know enough about the details of why those two individuals made the decisions they did.
Thanks, Morgan. And we'll come back to the room. Go ahead next at the mic.
Phoenix from City News. Madam Premier, this question is for you, and apologies because it's a little off topic.
Oh, here we go.
Minister Dreeshen has been quoted as saying that there's a possibility of a pilot project for the QE2, that being an increase of 110 kilometers to 120 kilometers. My question for you and for the government is, how did the government come to this point that they're considering something like this?
Well, it won't surprise you that Devin Dreeshen is not a huge fan of photo radar and not a huge fan of what appears to be fishing holes. So that's, I think, what his motivation is do we have roads that have been constructed that could tolerate a higher level of speed, but because the speed is not set to what the road allowance is, we're ending up with people getting tickets, getting slowed down, and if the reality is that you've got semi-vehicles trying to pass each other, blocking the lanes. Why don't we have a law in place that the semis have to be over on the collisions, make sure that allows for clear passage? So it is a pilot project. We work with the semi-vehicles trying to pass each other, blocking the lanes. Why don't we have a law in place that the semis have to be over on the far right so that it allows for
Yes, let's put another law in place.
Clear passage. So it is a pilot project. We're going to be monitoring very closely to make sure that we don't end up with any problems, any additional accidents or collisions. But I think it's probably, I think most people would look at that and say, if you can do it there, maybe there's other places you can do it. So that's what he's doing. He's doing it as a pilot project. And we'd be more than happy to hear feedback from others if they think that there's a mismatch between the way the road has been built and what the posted speed limit is.
And we just heard that there's a survey in place right now, I believe till December 5th.
Right.
Follow-up question. You've traveled that road many, many times, Madam Premier, and let me ask you this candidly. Have you ever gone beyond the speed limit while you're traveling those roads?
Fortunately, I don't drive anymore for everyone's sake, and I'm going to have to probably go and get some retraining when I do end up going back on the road again. I think that I think most people who've driven that road, I think that they have an intuitive sense that 120 kilometers an hour is probably the right speed.
Oh my word! She wants to make the QE2 120 kilometers an hour.
Thank you. And we have time for one last question. We'll come to the mic here.
Hiren Mansakani with the Post Media Calgary. What is your response to the Alberta Teachers Association's legal challenges to the invocation of the notwithstanding clause, which invalidated 10 sections of the Charter rights that that provide important constitutional freedoms?
Well, as I said before, I think that the right to strike was established in 2015 in a legal decision that was quite different scenario than what we're facing today. In Saskatchewan, there was a legislation that came in that declared essential services, but then didn't give an option for how to resolve. And so that's, I think, the circumstance where the court said you've got to honor the collective bargaining rights, and we do. That's why we tried to bargain at the table, and then when the bargaining ended up falling,
1 minute.
Was not successful. The teachers went on strike, and we kept on asking them to come back to the table, and they didn't. So I would ask you, maybe I'll direct you to the recent Canada Post decision, because
that's not a good comparison.
They ordered the postal workers back, and then there was a very year-long process about whether or not they had the right to order them back, and the Labour Board said yes. So at the federal level, they have ordered a number of different unions back to work over the last 20 years or so. So I do believe that the jurisdictions have the right to have their labor unions return to work. And we were a little bit concerned in this particular case, because we've got hybrid negotiations, that if we ended up resolving the provincial strike, we could have still ended up having 61 local strikes, because we have two different tables. And so it was a unique situation, not obviously the one that would have been our first choice. We would have preferred for the strike to have ended with a negotiated settlement. It didn't. And so this is our response to it. We had told the teachers that we had heard loud and clear that we needed to address issues of complexity. We know that there's a different way for us to be able to address complexity. One of the things that we were looking at and will look at here is what's happening in Saskatchewan. When Saskatchewan had their labor dispute, they've set up is specialized classrooms. And there are no more than 15 students with one teacher and 2 education assistants. And from some of the reports I'm hearing, they're pretty happy with that kind of approach. So that's the kind of issue that you have to deal with, not at a bargaining table with an arbitrary pupil-teacher ratio, but through the kind of collaboration that we're announcing today. So we're having this announcement today so that teachers, the ATA, can see that this is a good faith motion that we're taking to try to solve the very serious issues that they've raised.
And there have been several organizations, associations that have taken issue with the way Bill 2 was enacted, especially by restricting the debate period to 1 hour, squeezing all readings on the committee stage within 24 hours. What is your message to those who are concerned about the erosion of democracy in Alberta?
Excellent question.
Democracy is when the elected officials make decisions. Democracy is not when unelected judges.
What? I hate that argument so much.
Unilaterally make decisions. So let's be clear about what democracy is. And that is the reason why we are asking the courts to be a little more constrained, because there are areas that fall very clearly into the realm of elected officials. Us making a judgment that children are being harmed and their rights are being violated because they've been out of school in 3.5 years, that is the job of elected officials to make.
No, it is not.
And if we've got it wrong, then we'll hear about it at the polls. But if we've got it right, then we've got a lot of kids who are back in the classroom, and I think that's a good thing. So let's be clear.
Hi, Helios.
Unelected judges making decisions without any oversight and without having to go to the people to get the democratic endorsement of their view, that's not democracy. When elected officials make decisions, that's democracy.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all the time we have for questions. Thanks.
I'm sorry that I have to end it on that note, y'all, but I have to go pick up kiddo. Oh, my word. What an awful press conference. I'm so sorry I'm leaving it there. There may be time for some video gaming this weekend. We're done with politics for the weekend. And thank you for being here this morning. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, have a great rest of your Friday, and we will talk to you soon. Much love. Goodbye. We did QP already, Faya. It was early this morning. Goodbye.